also probably cut this. Yeah. Okay, just gotta wait for people to hop on in. Hello, Twistman? I don't know. Gracie Gal, hello. I'm doing fine, I hope you are. Hello, Ringo Shiro. Hello, Schrendebacher. Blood, yes, the blood will start in about, ooh. Huh. Interesting. My ping is like terribly low. I wonder what is causing that. Maybe if I cut off the string beats for a second and let it calm down a little bit. I don't know why it isn't outputting all that high. Yeah, no, this thing is, it's really wanting to suffer there. Okay. It should be recovering soon. Okay. So it hit like a really rough patch there. That was weird. But, it should be fine. Also, how does the mic sound? I finally cut it up in, OBS, figured out how to do that, so, I mean, hopefully it should be a lot louder. I'm talking at like, I'll say not above a whisper, but kind of below my normal speaking voice, so I hope I'm coming off as loud. I'm excited to see what you decide to cover. DonutOperator? Yeah. He is a piece of shit, and I'm probably going to get into that at around 9:10 because our debate isn't until an hour from now. 58 minutes technically, but an hour from now, so yeah. But y'all make sure to like the stream so that more people can see it. We have 9 viewers, but only 6 likes. So, you know, might want to get our numbers up a little bit so that we can hop into it. No one else is streaming, so it should be Gucci. Gucci? Should be Gucci. Should be good. Should be moving up in the world. Mic sounds much better. Yeah, thank you. Because I finally figured out how to fucking do it. But I'm not gonna lie, I got like high key very annoying just dealing with like just who's DonutOperator. We will get into that when we get into the segment, so just stay tuned. But yeah, no, it got like very annoying dealing with like just reading the comment section and half of the comments being like, hey, your mic is like really low. Cause like the thing is about it, I would have, can y'all hear my background also? I have something playing on Netflix and I don't want it to get me content nuked, but I also don't want to cut it down. Well, DM and Kaffles are both live at the moment, so I don't know how much overlap. I don't fucking know. Kaffles is a I'll tell you what it might be. All of my fucking audience is gay. They're probably all watching a new Owl House thing. I'll just watch like the rerun. You can hear it a bit? Okay. It is The Dragon Prince, which season 4. I watched season 1 through 3, and I fucking hated. Oh god, 18 people. Okay, we're gonna be starting a segment in about 5 minutes, and then the debate will happen at 10. So stay tuned for that. It's gonna be a good one. But yeah, it just takes people time to like file in. Hello, aesthetically sorry. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, because like the thing is about it, of course, I listen to my own audio whenever I have to like edit my videos, and like sometimes I'll listen to my videos to like figure out what I want to do better with them, you know? Thankfully, I am not someone who feels weirded out by listening to my own voice, so like, you know, I can do that. But I was like, whenever I listened through my own videos, I never heard an issue with them. And like, keep in mind, I don't have the best hearing because I spent most of middle school and like the beginning bit of high school like blasting my ears out with metal music. So like I was like, okay, if I can hear it, other people can probably hear it. And then like I thought about it and I was like, no, other people might have like shit audio listening devices or like just worse hearing than me. So I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'll look into like ways to change it. And now I have a higher mic settings on OBS, so hopefully it should work a little bit better. But that does come at the expense of the fact that whenever I lean into the mic like this, it is going to be exceedingly painful for a lot of you. So keep that in mind, you know. But yeah. So, we will be covering DonutOperator soon. I should probably go ahead and bring up that video. Do 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 ba da 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 ba da 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 da. That didn't sound too bad when you leaned in. Oh cool, that wasn't painful, my dude? Oh sweet, okay. And looks like the mic settings are great then. They're doing good. They're doing what they're supposed to. I'm telling y'all, this second monitor, I got it, I remember, it was like literally New Year's Eve, and I had just gotten off work, and like, I was kind of playing with the idea of looking for a new monitor, but it was mostly just like me going to go out and like look around for like what I might be able to buy. But like my main thing was like, you know, $120 or less, because I didn't want to like splurge on a new fucking monitor. And I walked into like Target, and I went to the monitor section, and the like secondary monitor I got, it was a normally like $200 monitor, and it was on sale for $99, so half off. So it was on sale for half off, and only between December 25th and January 1st. So like a right after Christmas sale, like clearance. And like the moment I saw that, I was like, you know, I'm not gonna find anything else that cheap. And it's a good monitor. So I mean, a little loud but not hurty, to be honest. Howdy came from playing MTG just to watch the stream. MTG... Metal Gear? Whenever I see MTG, I just think Marjorie Taylor Greene now. It's like, my brain chemistry has been like irrevocably altered by the fucking crazy Georgian. Flash, if you think Pillow types aggressively, oh lord, have you heard me? Oh no, I don't type aggressively, I just have a loud keyboard. Like, I can, I mean, I don't really type aggressively. I type fast, but that's because I took, like, typing classes in middle school. A typing class in middle school, and it carried over. Although, like, the thing is about it, like, I was, like, slightly kind of a little behind in the typing class, just because, like, the benchmarks for the typing class were, like, kind of dumb sometimes. It was mostly like hitting keys that you would never need to hit, and like some people who already knew about typing and just took it because it was like a basic computer class were like ahead of me, so I was like kind of in like the middle bit of the class, in that little area. I wasn't suffering, but I wasn't like accelerating. But the people who finished like the basic keyboard stuff for like the last couple of weeks of the class, they got to learn the number pad, and I never learned the fucking number pad. So I don't use the number pad, and now I have it as the little thing that I can do to switch between my scenes and stuff. So, such as this scene, that should be... Oh no, okay. Yeah, okay. Well, I'm glad I clicked here, because now... Device not connect. What? Okay, primary monitor. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, I'm glad I figured that out. Giving me flashbacks to the pinky assignment. Fuck the pinky assignment. You barely use the F and J rule. I always use the F and J rule. Gracie got the F and J rule. If you look on like any physical keyboard, the F and J keys have like little divots. They're called home keys, and then you can use that to like move on to different keys. So like, you know, if I'm not supposed to be clicking right there. If I were to type in, like, I don't know, fucking, fucking, like, yeah, like, shit, I accidentally clicked Z instead of X, because they're right next to each other. And, like, see, I didn't look at the keyboard at all, because I can just, like, see? Like, without looking, just because I can have that tactile feeling of, like, the home keys, and I know what to do from there, so. What made you decide to cover Donut? Someone in the server said it, and I was like, I don't want to cover DonutOperator, and then I thought about it a little bit more, and I was like, fuck DonutOperator. With that being said, though, I'm gonna, like, take a sip of water. I have a water bottle next to me, of course. I'm gonna take a sip of water, and then we can go and head into this piece of shit's fucking video. If that tells you anything about how I feel about DonutOperator, then, you know. Vosh Groomer search. Jesus. My keyboard is hard on my desk. Oh. You're forced to touch type. The mustache be strong with this one, yeah. He's a fucking cop. So, former cop. He's such a coward that he doesn't even do the fucking coward job anymore. Okay. Segmentorino time. Because I have this debate in like not a couple of minutes, but you know, moving on. So yeah. I can only imagine what the comments of this upcoming video are gonna be like. Holy shit, dude. It's gonna be horrific whenever I upload this segment that's coming up. It's just gonna be people going like, oh, well, you know, you know, it's just gonna be people being like fucking racist. Okay. Okay. I got a good pop on that side. Yep. Okay, nothing there. Okay. Let's do it. This is the least ergonomic fucking chair. Wait, what did someone just say? You're here for Nazi blood, screw donut. Hey. I'm debating that person in 46 minutes. If you don't want to watch the DonutOperator segment, you're more than welcome to set a 46-minute timer. I would be debating them around right now as I usually do, but you know, they're a different person and work in a different time scale than me, and I apologize about that, but I'm trying to meet them halfway, so it'll just be a little while. In the meantime, I will be giving you content. Wait, Cassandra Mel? Yes. Okay. Can you debate that person already? No. I made a video on Cassandra Mel. I've not debated Cassandra Mel. And I'll give you interaction. I appreciate that. Okay. Why is... Hey, howdy, and hello, everyone. A pillow here. If I looked a little befuddled there for a second, it's because I was hitting the recording button, and it was not recording. But you know what? Here we are today to talk about a little content creator called DonutOperator. You see, I made it rhyme. So, DonutOperator is a fairly sizable YouTuber who uploads videos fairly inconsistently. He seems to, unlike me, you know, I upload Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and I stream on Fridays and Saturdays, or Fridays or Saturdays, depending on how I'm feeling that week. And you can join the chat right over here if you are there live on YouTube. But with that plug being done with, DonutOperator is a former cop content creator who has a pretty sizable following, and his content is entirely based on reviewing police shootings, police violence footage, and well, basically doing everything he can to make the cops in that situation seem as sympathetic as possible, and then pulling back like a coward. You know, former cop, they tend to be cowards, but pulling back like a coward and then going, oh, well, I'm unbiased, and it's up for you, my audience, to decide, even though he cultivates a very specific audience, and an audience that tends to like sucking the boot a lot. So anyone who watches my content regularly will likely know some people like this, but not a lot of people have covered DonutOperator. So that is why I have taken it upon myself, at the behest of a suggestion of a kind person in my Discord server, which you can also join, link in the description, to, in particular, view this video about the recent death of a man by the name of Keenan Anderson at the hands of the police. So in this video, I'm not necessarily going to be talking about the merits of the case of Keenan Anderson. I'm going to be pointing out DonutOperator's rhetoric in this, because, let's be honest, I have no sympathy for cowards, and I feel like DonutOperator is a pretty big coward in the way that he interacts with this kind of stuff. So, let's get into it. Gotta cut on the audio. Okay, so like immediately this video starts with footage of this man with like, what did he have like music behind it? Yeah, with like like pounding like action movie music behind it. A man getting murdered in this video, and you cannot hear the video? Really? Really? Okay, you know, how about we, I'll just do that one from the top. I didn't like how it started anyway, so that's a pretty good excuse to redo it. Thanks y'all for telling me, though. Got that Noah Samson type mustache? True. Okay. From the top again. Yeah, no, I really didn't like I really did not like how that segment started, so I'm gonna retry that. Yes, I get that the video was near dead silent. Okay, how about this before we hop into
Hi
the video?
everyone, Donut
this?
here. I haven't posted in a week, but look, I'm back here with another unbiased police incident that is taking the national news by storm. With titles like Black Man Fatally Beaten by the LAPD and repeatedly screamed they're trying to George Floyd me as he fought for his life. Police body cam footage shows LA teacher who died after being tased multiple times. Black Lives Matter co-founder's cousin Keenan Anderson dies after LAPD officers
bit quiet. In your opinion. Okay, how about everyone else? Just a bit higher? Okay.
As most of the things that I put on this channel, I'm going to be unbiased. I'm going to be going between multiple sources, trying to find the truth in the middle.
I'm sorry,
LAPD reports, news reports, dumbasses on Twitter. Speaking of, I first found this incident on Twitter from the user.
Gosh, I already hate his demeanor / voice. Yeah, he's a piece of shit. I don't know what to tell you. Like he is a piece of shit. Okay, let's get into this. Hey, howdy, and hello everyone, Apillo here once again. Today we are going to be covering a content creator, a little content creator. Not quite little, fairly sizable audience, actually, I got that wrong, by the name of DonutOperator. So, I'm going to give some context to this. DonutOperator is a former cop who now entirely traffics on his YouTube channel in taking footage of police violence being committed against people and pretty much doing everything he can to play cover for the police without being overly explicit about, and then claiming that he's non-biased and that it is up for his audience and a grand jury to decide, because he is a coward, so much of a coward that he quit policing, you know? He quit the job that cowards go to. Friendly reminder, it is more dangerous to be a pizza delivery driver than a police officer, so don't let this man's propaganda get to you. But let's get into his video on the death of Keenan Anderson, who is a man who was recently murdered by police. Let's go ahead and watch it.
They're trying to kill me! They're trying to kill me!
So immediately, the flaw with this immediately is the fact that DonutOperator is showing footage of a man being murdered and is putting very dramatic, like like action movie music behind a real life man being murdered. Like, immediately a bad start. Yeah, just a horrific start.
Hi everyone, Donut here. I haven't posted in a week, but look, I'm back here with another unbiased police incident that is taking the national news by storm.
Immediately, we already got him saying unbiased. Tell me, genuinely, do y'all think that a man who was... Stop auto-playing YouTube. What's wrong with you? Okay, so let's be 100% honest.
Sources trying to find the truth.
Do we think that a man who was a police officer for years on end will be unbiased when talking about police incidents of this variety? Obviously not, you know? That's like saying, oh yeah, I worked at McDonald's for like a decade, and I really like their burgers, and I think that you should eat them, like, a lot, but I'm unbiased though. This is just like a personal judgment, you know? Like, obviously, this man has a strong bias in this. Okay? The debate will start at about 10 Flower Vortex. It's mostly just going to be, this video is mostly just going to be me crapping on DonutOperator. But yes, please do take care of yourself. So, let's get back into this trash fire.
On him. As most of the things that I put on this channel, I'm going to be unbiased. I'm going to be going between multiple sources, trying to find the truth in the middle. LAPD reports, news reports, dumbasses on Twitter. Speaking of,
Also, keep in mind, anyone who tells you that they're unbiased or is trying to, like, find some sort of middle ground is lying to you. Everyone has a bent, especially when they aren't some organization. Like, really, the only organization that you can get when covering news that is unbiased is something that synthesizes a lot of media sources, or B, just reports the facts, like plain facts. And even then, there can be bias in the way that things are addressed. Like, in an incident like this, it can be called a police incident, it can be called an accident, and it can be called a murder. There are multiple things in this that this specific incident can be called. Yeah, and this man is not unbiased. Do not let him lead you to believe that he's unbiased. He has a dog in this game, and you'll see this as this video goes forward.
I first found this incident on Twitter from the user 50 Shades of Way. He is a freelance reporter with about 300,000 followers who commonly posts a couple seconds to a minute of police incident content or other stupid shit without any context. With that being said, I'm not saying this incident was right.
See, like immediately, like, oh, I'm unbiased, but this person's also very stupid, you know?
Right or wrong, that's for
the
you
most
guys and a grand jury to
unbiased.
decide. I'm just here for the context and honest delivery. The video, currently, as I am filming this, that I'm about to show you, has 1.4 million views.
Stop it right now. Stop it right now. Turn over. Turn over, I'm gonna tase you. Turn over, I'm gonna tase you. Turn over, I'm gonna tase you. Yes.
Okay, so he's about to defend these police officers.
What's your elbow, Barney? You're trying to join for me. You're trying to join for me. Stop it, I'm gonna tase you. Okay, stop it, I'm gonna tase you. Stop it, I'm gonna tase you. Stop resisting. Please, stop resisting. Please, please, please. I'm gonna tase him. I'm gonna tase him. They're trying to kill me.
This video's
About the
gonna get
35-second
dinged.
mark while the suspect is still resisting, an officer says,
Okay, so immediately we get into this. He's already using language such as resisting and loading. Stop autoplaying. Stop autoplaying, YouTube.
between multiple sources.
So immediately, DonutOperator uses terms like resisting. If we go back to this video, his resisting is him panicking whenever someone's elbow is right up on his neck, in a manner that, you know, would probably panic a lot of people, especially in a situation like this. And if you notice, he mentions George Floyd. This is a pretty similar situation to the way that he died, at least in this image that you see right now, with this person's elbow being on his neck. In George Floyd's case, it was a knee. In this case, it is an elbow on a neck. That would cause someone a lot of panic, but no, he's resisting arrest for being a human and panicking whenever he's having, what is it, like 2, 3, maybe like 200, 250 pound men, considering like the general health wise of police in this country, just like on top of him. Yeah, but no, he's resisting arrest for being a human and panicking like a human.
Please, trying to kill me.
At about the 35-second mark, while the suspect is still resisting, an officer says, I'm going to use my taser, and he deploys the taser probes. Mind you, he said he's going to use his taser, I think it was 12 to 14 times.
And again, you can't reason with people in a panic state. It's almost like police should not be dealing with people in panic states, because it's difficult to reason with them, especially when you're threatening them with physical violence and are doing physical violence upon them. Yeah, you can say that restraining has a necessary, that restraining is a necessary thing to do in many circumstances, and I agree. Yeah, sometimes you do have to restrain people, but that doesn't make it any less violent. It's still an act of violence being done upon someone, and whenever an act of violence is done upon someone, they are going to react like violence is being done upon them. Because that's how humans are. Shut up, YouTube autoplay.
Between multiple sources, trying to find the truth in the middle.
But that's what happens. Whenever someone is being assailed upon, they're going to panic, because that's what humans do. We are biologically hardwired to take care of ourselves in that way. It's not... Yeah, you can call it resisting if you want. This was not malicious. This was a man panicking for his life. But no, this man is unbiased. Unbiased. This is an unbiased reporter here. DonutOperator is.
Delivery. The video, currently, as I am...
You're trying to join for me. You're trying to kill me.
Deploys the taser probes. Gather around, folks. I'm going to tell you how a taser works real quick. There are 2 ways to use a taser. You deploy the taser probes, the 2 little guys, and if they stick in your skin good enough, then it works. You stiffen up, you can't talk, and your life sucks for 5 seconds. The slow-mo guys created a video about 7 years ago demonstrating a pretty cool taser deployment. That's the first way a taser works. The second way a taser works is by drive stunning. You know the stun gun that your mom keeps in her purse or that someone in high school had and you f around with it and poke each other with it? You guys didn't have taser fights in high school? What is the world coming to? The tip of the taser makes a little electrical arc that you can just stick to people. It makes people comply pretty well. At the 35-second mark into the video, the officer does deploy his taser, but it appears that it doesn't make a good connection through the guy's hoodie. This means that the officer moves to the second option that you can use with the taser, which is drive stunning, to get the man to put his hands behind his back. After getting drive stunned for a couple of seconds, the suspect starts saying yes sir and stops fighting, but then immediately yells no and continues resisting.
Yes, sir. Don't resist. No. Stop resisting. Stop resisting. Okay.
And again, if you see right here,
just drive stunning
in this little segment right here, yeah, you have another hand on this man's back and the back of his neck. Panicking again, being tased might make someone start to comply, as he said, but at the same time, that doesn't diminish the amount of panic. Humans are not robots.
For a couple of seconds, the suspect starts saying yes sir and stops fighting, but then immediately yells no and continues resisting.
Yes, sir. Don't resist. No. Stop resisting. Stop resisting. Okay. Stop it. Help. Stop it. Help, please. Help. Do not move.
And yeah, drive stunning is a way to get someone to comply, but also keep in mind that is an electric arc going into your body enough to contract your muscles and, well, enough to make your muscles contract and constrict. A, that's very painful to people, and B, you know what else is very painful? YouTube autoplay. Stop doing that. I have you cut off for a reason. Stop. But you know what else is also very painful to people, and what else this muscle contraction can do? It can potentially stop your heart. Because your heart is a muscle. Your heart is a big beating muscle. It contracts and constricts and releases to pump blood through your body. And that can kill someone if you mess up their heart rhythm. We saw this recently with a NFL player whose name I'm forgetting, but I think he was on the Buffalo Bills. He was playing football. He got tackled right in the chest. This is a healthy man. He is in his 20s. And when he got tackled in his chest, it knocked off his heart rhythm and he had a heart attack. Messing with someone's heart rate like this for a prolonged amount of time, even for a brief period of time, can kill someone. Damar Hamlin, thank you, Zoom Flash. Yeah. But focusing outside of the situation, let's go into Donut Operator's rhetoric around this entire thing.
My taser stop resisting.
Because this is what is
tell
particularly
you how a
disgusting
taser
to
works
me.
real quick. There are two ways I stated it.
So we've seen him
After getting drive stunned for a couple of seconds,
Stop resisting.
but then immediately yells no and continues resisting.
Yes, sir. Don't resist. Stop it. Help, please. Help. Do not move. I'm not resisting.
Yeah, and if you can see there, he isn't resisting. He has his arms there's no realistic way he can fight back at this point. He has a knee on his back. His arms are behind his back. He's on the ground, face forward. He has a taser to his back. How else can he resist? He's incapacitated.
Do not move. Okay. If not, I'm gonna tase you again. Okay. Okay, I got one. Help me. Okay. Stop it. Stop resisting.
Let's see what other large activists on Twitter are saying about this before we
Yeah, large activists on Twitter.
get into the context of the video. You know, the whole video.
Okay.
The video that was posted by 50 Shades of Way that has 1.4 million views at time of filming says, warning graphic, the LAPD tased a black man to death after he flagged him down for help. At one point he says, they're trying to George Floyd me. Keenan Anderson was a dedicated father and high school teacher. Oh man, that guy blocked me. Why? Qasim Rashid. Thank you, Chrome Incognito. Keenan Anderson, a 31-year-old high school teacher and father, stopped LA police for help after an accident. They instead cuffed him, pinned him, and tased him repeatedly as he begged for them to stop. Keenan died of cardiac arrest from excessive tasing. His crime was asking police for help. Not quite. We'll get into that here in a minute. You guys want some context? Yeah.
Okay, so apparently this guy is about to just go on and try to justify killing someone, even if they've committed a crime, which Keenan Anderson very well might have committed a crime, but just justifying extrajudicial police killings of people, even in a circumstance, YouTube, I'm going to scream. But justify extrajudicial police killings, even in a circumstance where charges have not been filed, no one has gone to court. That's what Donut Operator is about to defend here. So let's get back into this. I really need to change my hotkeys because this is getting really annoying to me. Okay, so a hit and run, a felony. A suspected hit and run. Okay. Again, how does this justify a police killing? That's what I want to know. Yeah. Okay, so right now we see a man very much so complying. I mean, like, he got down like that himself. Yep, see, oh wow, he's complying. Wow, would you look at that? He is complying. No sound, dude? Oh shit, sorry. Thank you. Okay. But still, this was mostly just footage. We're seeing a man complying right now.
Who's trying to kill you? Okay, what car were you?
Cut off about 7 minutes before the foot chase was about to happen because the officer was sitting there trying to calm down Anderson, just trying to figure out what was going on and what had happened. They picked it right back up before he ran off.
Hey, stay here. Stay here.
Sir, I need some water. Can you give me some water? Please.
Stay here. I'll get you some water here in a second, okay?
Please.
Just have a...
Oh, and also, again, nothing that Keenan Anderson does here justifies him being killed by cops. Yeah? If you want to prosecute someone for committing a crime, that can be done in a court of law. This is where we should condone extrajudicial killings. So if they hold him down and torture people, people never cease to disgust me. Keenan was unwell and ended up running in the middle of traffic. Not saying to kill him, but restraining Keenan. Yeah, restraining him was fine. Killing him was not. The way they went about restraining him, that will be determined in a court of law. I'm mostly just going to talk about Donut Operator's rhetoric surrounding this entire situation.
Stay right there then. You want to be seen? Stay right there. For me a second here. Come here. I don't want you in the road. Come here. Come here.
The guy who just caused a pretty big wreck then tried to jump into someone else's car to flee the wreck. Oh yeah, that happened too. Endangering himself and other drivers by running into the middle of
the oh yeah, that happened too, and then like just not pointing to any reports.
The road. Someone's got to go into cuffs at that point.
Now, get down over there. Turn over on your stomach right now. Turn over on your stomach right now. Turn over. Yes. Turn over.
He initially complies to the officer saying get down, but then starts resisting arrest. A lot of people on the internet think that the video we watched on Twitter where they were getting him into cuffs is not him resisting. Resisting doesn't mean someone's actively punching a police officer in the face. There's passive and active resisting. Passive means that they're just not listening to you. Active can be punching, kicking. It can even be bringing your arms to your chest and not wanting to be arrested. It can be stiffening up so that the police can't put you in handcuffs. Anything to prevent...
Stiffening up is also something that can happen whenever someone has a lot of stress and adrenaline in them. That's not always an intentional thing. And considering how irrational and panicked Keenan Anderson was acting, such stiffening was probably a result of that, yeah.
An arrest physically is active resisting. That's exactly what happens almost this entire video. If a suspect is actively resisting, this means that a police officer can use whatever force that is within their policy and their use of force continuum to get someone into handcuffs.
Oh yeah, and before like any Donut Operator fans say anything about this, what Keenan Anderson is doing in this circumstance by running around would technically constitute resisting arrest. That does not justify killing him though.
Turn over!
Yes, sir.
People also stiffen when they're tased. Yeah. Imagine that.
Hold on. Okay, please.
Sit down.
Please, sir, please don't do this. Please don't do this, sir. Please. Help me, please. Help me, please. No, please, help me. Help me, please.
Hey, stop.
Let's get more into the rhetoric.
Stop it right now.
Please, stop resisting. Please. Please. Please.
Okay, yeah, so they have him on the ground.
As I said before, I can't. It was either 12, 13, or 14. I'm going to tase you, stop. Which, as we talked about at the beginning.
And again, whenever you are in a panic situation, you probably aren't paying... You probably aren't paying that much attention to the people who you think are assailing upon you. Being a cop doesn't change your station in, like, monkey brain and in lizard brain. That doesn't change your station. If you're assailing upon someone, which they were doing, you can say that they were fulfilling their duty, that they were doing their job. Yeah. That doesn't change the fact that what they were doing and what it would have been perceived as is them assailing upon someone, which would cause them to panic and maybe not necessarily listen to him, especially since this man was already panicked. I've seen people be arrested. It's scary, and I understand being panicked and stuff. Yeah, literally.
Video, I don't think that the taser probes made a proper connection. That's why I started drive stunning him. They finally get him into cuffs, and he continues screaming about how this is an act and that the officers are actors, and then starts screaming about the officers thinking that he killed CeeLo.
They're trying to kill me. Oh, no. Oh, Pilo.
Okay, so he's a man suffering from a mental health crisis, potentially? Okay.
Oh, Pilo.
Doesn't justify killing him.
I got him on the ground over there just sitting on his own, and then he took off in the traffic right. They think I killed Pilo.
I'm not too sure who CeeLo is. They put him on his side and sit him up so that he can breathe, and he's still talking to them. According to the LAPD, fire and EMS arrived 60 seconds later to assess Anderson.
They sedated me. Yeah.
Reports state that he had a medical emergency and passed away. Toxicology to the hospital. 4.5 hours later, while he was in the hospital, reports state that he had a medical emergency and passed away. Toxicology reports state that he had weed and cocaine in his system at the time. The
Okay. Yeah. So that also probably messed up his heart rate. And also with the tasing, that also probably did something with it. So I had an electric dog collar used to me, and literally as that would go off and my muscles would suddenly... Yeah,
police
that's what
chief later
happens.
stated that he had gotten into a
I don't
felony
want
hit
to
and
question
run,
why you were wearing an electric dog collar, but, you know.
tried to get into someone else's car to flee the scene, and that was right before the motorcycle officer arrived. While I'm here, shout out to all the death threats that I got by simply stating there was more to this video on Twitter. F***ing blow me. So what do you guys think about this whole thing? Is it lawful but awful? Was that much taser excessive? Did the officer simply just beat a man to death for flagging them down for help? Let me know in the comments below. If you guys want to help support the channel, go to DonutOperator.com, get some super sweet merch, or subscribe to me on any...
Okay, so let us talk about the situation as a whole. So, what we just watched was a man being killed by the police, most likely. Bringing up the toxicology report is something that, you know, I mean, he can do, and maybe it could point to something, but at the same time, I think there are multiple factors here. A, if he was on cocaine, that can mess up heart rate. B, he was panicking, that heightens heart rate. C, he got tased for a prolonged period of time, which can absolutely mess up someone's heart rate and cause them to go into cardiac arrest. So we have that. But now I'm here to give you all what this entire situation in context when covered by DonutOperator means. Okay? So we saw at the very beginning that DonutOperator stated,
I haven't posted in a week, but look, I'm back here with another unbiased police incident that is...
Unbiased. This man was a police officer for multiple years. He's been doing this line of work on YouTube and covering police incidents like this for multiple years. I think it is safe to say that he probably is not unbiased. Probably not unbiased in the fact that he's selling himself as unbiased in this when his bias clearly shows through, especially when he was talking about like the specific people he chose on Twitter to talk about when sharing this video were very specific people that he seems to have a little bit of a bent against. He's clearly not unbiased, yeah? And this is where I get into the main section of this video. I might edit this one a little bit because there was a lot of fluff in here. But this is what I mostly want to say. Anyone who tells you that they do not have a bias is lying to you. Everyone has a bias, and this is one of the most obvious examples of this. No one who is in this line of work for this long will be unbiased when covering this kind of material. At all. Full stop. I fully admit my bias. He doesn't. Because he lies to you and wants you to believe that what he's giving you is unbiased. When every single last thing he has said here has been done to justify the killing of this man by police. Keenan Anderson, in this situation, did not act the most rational. He did not act like, I guess, the perfect arrestee, but that doesn't justify him being killed in this way. That doesn't justify what happened to him. Because believe it or not, there are 8 billion people on this planet. Not everyone is the most rational actor. And not everyone's going to be a model stand-up citizen. But that doesn't mean that we should sit here and slyly make arguments without fully admitting them but slyly make arguments as to why an incident like this was justified. Notice how he also said the toxicology report said that Keenan Anderson was on weed and cocaine in here. He was tossing in a little something, he was sprinkling in a little something like, ooh, see, this wasn't just one incident. He might have also been doing something else. Yeah. A panicked man is not going to act rational. Flat out. People need to recognize that at the end of the day, humans are animals. And animals, when they feel threatened, whether or not their feeling of being threatened is justified, will act irrationally. And will act to protect themselves. It doesn't matter your station in society. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what level of authority you have over them. They will try to flee. They will try to fight. And they will try to protect themselves. Flat out. And expecting... No, I'm not going to say expecting. Trying to justify this kind of behavior by law enforcement in this situation by stating, oh, he wasn't acting the most rational, oh, he was running around, oh, he was panicking. Trying to do that isn't a very good idea. Isn't the best idea to do, because people will react in irrational ways when they feel threatened. Even cops. When cops feel threatened, they will act in irrational and non-logical ways because we're humans. Yeah? A situation like this, and hindsight is 20/20. Yeah? But there are many ways that the situation also could have been resolved. If he was running away, it's a hit and run. They were probably going to charge him with a hit and run already. The car was there. Take the plates and just find him later. A hit and run doesn't always mean that someone is still an active threat. This wasn't a murder he committed. People do hit and runs all the time. Is it unfortunate? Yes. But there are ways to handle this instead of jumping on someone who's acting irrationally. Keenan Anderson's primary thing here that it seemed like he might have been doing was A, panicking, B, acting irrational, and C, kind of sort of complying but also not, and trying to explain the situation and panicking while doing that and not necessarily doing the best job. Yeah? And then again, multiple ways this situation could have gone. And it went in a way that ended up with his death, which is unfortunate. But the fact of the matter is, the immediate thing that happened here didn't always have to be an immediate, right then and there arrest. Yeah, exactly. There was no need to do this. If he were, it would be one thing if he murdered someone, if he shot someone, if he stabbed someone, but he didn't. He did a hit and run and tried to run away from the scene. Should he have been arrested and prosecuted for that? Yes. Don't do hit and runs. But at the same time, this man did not have to die over this. Because what else was he going to do? Flee the country over a hit and run? And then running from the police? No. They had his face on body cam. They could run his plates and figure out who he was and where he lived. They did not have to do this. And the fact that DonutOperator is sitting here and pointing to his irrationality, his human irrationality, his behavior in this hyper-stressful situation where he might have been under the influence of drugs, which the cops didn't know that, but this hyper-irrational behavior, and not violent irrational, just panicked irrational. The fact that DonutOperator is sitting here and pointing to the situation and saying, well, you can't blame the cops for doing this and this and this because they had to get that arrest. And, sometimes things happen and he shouldn't have been acting like that. Humans are not rational actors. We are animals. And this kind of rhetoric and this kind of behavior is disgusting, especially when it's coming from someone who claims to be non-biased. Because if he was non-biased, he would have said some of the arguments that I made. That not everyone is going to act rationally in a situation like this. That there were that there were other ways that they could have later arrested him. That there were things that they could have done to minimize the amount of harm. This man did not serially commit hit and runs. Take his tags and arrest him later. But no, this man is not unbiased. Flat out, full stop, he is not unbiased. And the fact that he's promoting himself like that to you should be a sign that you shouldn't listen to him. You know what an unbiased take on this might look like? Keenan Anderson was a man who committed a hit and run. And he was acting irrationally when the cops were trying to talk to him and were likely about to arrest him. It happens. Yeah? He might have been under the influence of drugs. It happens. But then, instead of doing the various different avenues that they could have done, because Keenan Anderson did not pose an active threat until he got spooked and reacted like any living being would react in many such a situation, he ended up getting tackled, arrested, and tased, which threw off his heart rhythm, among other things that might have also thrown off his heart rhythm, and killed him. But no. DonutOperator is not an unbiased actor. I've said it repeatedly, and this is gonna be the last time I try to say it. This is not an unbiased actor. Don't let him lead you to believe this. Because if he was an unbiased actor, he wouldn't be telling this from a police perspective. He would be telling this from all perspectives. Going into the police psyche into this. Going into the potential psyche of Keenan Anderson in this. What could cause the situation. What could be improved upon. But this isn't what he's doing. He's making justifications as to why this happened. And why this isn't as bad. And why the coverage of this as being a murder is bad. It's what it was. Yeah? It was a killing. A man got killed. A man got murdered. There were different ways to solve the situation. He didn't pose an active threat to anyone. And this is how he ended up. So again, keep that in mind going forward. Yeah? No matter what Keenan Anderson did, that doesn't justify his death by cop. Flat out. With that being said, if you found a way to enjoy this segment, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. You can join my Discord server, link in the description, and follow me on Twitter, link in the description as well. I stream on Fridays and Saturdays, or Fridays or Saturdays, depending on how I'm feeling that week. And I upload videos on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, which is 11 p.m. Pacific Time, I believe. With that being said, I love you all, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace. Meanwhile, my friend was jumped and nearly killed by a white guy he knows, and the police, CBF getting a hold of the guy because claims to not be home. Yeah. Police CBF getting a hold of guy because he claims not to be home when you come by his house. Yeah. Given the hellscape of US President sadly dying versus spending 25 years in torture is preferable. Yeah, perhaps. Said before, but bears repeating how 3 pretty strong looking cops could not overpower and manhandle a cuff guy, literally. But yeah, no, this entire situation could have, legitimately, he didn't, this was not a situation where you necessarily had to cuff the guy, just, immediately cuff the guy and arrest him and bring him in if he was resisting, if he wasn't complying, just okay. fuck it. Let him go home and then arrest him later, you know? It would be one thing if he was posing an active threat, but he was not. What made you decide you wanted to cover him? Because I fucking hate DonutOperator. I mean, they did overpower him. They chose to take him afterward. Yeah. Yeah. They didn't need to take him in. Immediately. And again, don't do hit and runs. Yeah, I'm not gonna deny doing a hit and run is bad. But that doesn't justify him getting murdered by the cops. Not simple. Anyways, this debate is going to be starting in about 5 minutes. So, yeah. Anyways, how is everyone? Hit and runs are cringe, yeah. I don't see how they don't see people they go after as human. They're feral beasts protected by law, yeah. That's the thing about it too. It's human behavior to panic whenever you're assailed upon. Like, we are biologically hardwired to panic whenever we're in a situation when we feel threatened, because, hey, believe it or not, that's how humans have survived for, I believe, Homo sapiens have been on the planet for around 200,000 years. Like, Homo sapiens in particular. Like, the first hominids emerged 2 million years ago, but Homo sapiens in particular for 2,000 years. And that's just kind of how all animals act. Animals don't like being assailed upon. Even the most basic of fucking animals don't even like being assailed upon. There's a reason why bees have stingers. Anyways, what game should I watch while we wait? Not while we wait for the debate, but while I'm in the debate. Because I like to watch games and stuff whenever I am doing a debate. And then, of course, after this, I'm gonna probably do that debate retrospective on the Lolicon debate. Because that went, I feel like I could have done better. And I also feel like the person that I debated was a lot more slimy, and I didn't portray that as well as I could have. Like, I felt like I went into that debate with too much sympathy. Just to understand Jewish people than give a source. Good luck dealing with Mel. Oh, yeah. It's gonna be fire. Is this debate person who freaked out in Chud chat? Yeah. Random wholesome bee fact: if they cannot make it to the hive, bee sisters will. Aww. That's adorable. Thank you, I needed that. I mean, but like, for real though, like, it genuinely stresses me out. Like, trust me, I don't like watching videos of fucking, like, black men getting killed by the fucking cops. That is, like, the last thing I want to watch. And shit is uncomfortable for me. You know, my heart is, like, beating right now. But, I mean, it is what it is. You know? Like sometimes I have to do things for this YouTube chat that I don't like to do. But it's important to cover. I wasn't satisfied with that DonutOperator segment, though. I felt like I should have spent less time talking about the actual footage and more time talking about his arguments. But then again, it was kind of hard to do that without talking about the footage, so it's kind of like a lose-lose situation. I might cover DonutOperator again in the future. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and hop into debate chat. In my stream. In my server. Alright. Okay, gonna deafen right quick. Then, actually before this starts, I'm gonna, like, run off to the bathroom right quick. Hold up, I need to do server shit. Oh, server settings. Ah, fuck it, I'll just use general chat. I know if anyone joins, I'll just ban them. Battlefield 1 was such a good fucking game. I have like Battlefield 1 footage on the screen right now. So much better. Be right back. Alright. You've got 28 viewers. I can see. I think my concurrents are in like the higher 20s, like my averages. Chaos is Mel or different Mel? Different Mel. Much different Mel. Alright, kiddos. I'm gonna run to the toilet right quick. I'll be right back. Yes, I did wash my hands. My bathroom is literally just right across the hallway from me, so it doesn't take all that long. Also, I really didn't have to pee. I just kind of wanted to wash my hands, so I didn't pee. Okay. See, my hands are wet. These are wet hands. These are very wet hands. See, look at them. Look at them. Look at them glisten. Oh, yeah. See, wet hands. Okay. Yeah, debate's about to start. Alright. Hey, howdy, and hello, everyone. Let us get into this debate. How are you?
Hey.
You doing good?
Hey, yeah, I'm alright. I'm gonna just like begin by just like introducing myself, like name, pronouns, and whatnot. Is that how this works?
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Cassandra. My pronouns are she, Faye, because neo-pronouns are base and true scum can cope and fucking save. You can find me on Twitter at Cassandra_Nya. That's CASSANDRA_NYA. Hi. I'm sorry if I'm a bit like nervous and I'm not like the most articulate. I'm not the most confident when it comes to this sort of stuff, but hopefully it goes alright.
Yeah. Well, you know, whenever you're arguing in favor of some of the things I've seen you advocate for on your Twitter, which you just plugged, you know, you might not be the most confident, but we can get into it. So, what would you like to talk about first and foremost?
I thought maybe we could begin you actually apologizing for claiming that I was like fake trans, and like, so yeah.
Oh yeah. And that video that I made when like I thought that you were, you know, a troll, because it's kind of uncommon to find someone whose like belief points, especially when it comes to things such as, you know, general fascistic leanings, and is also trans. You know, it's like, I'm gonna admit that was on me. You know, I don't know if you are or not. I can't verify that. But you know, I'll take you at your word here. You know, maybe you are just a trans fascist. So, yeah.
Well, I wouldn't consider myself a fascist.
Well, most people who
when you
are
say that
fascist
that's not that common,
don't.
that actually is like quite common. Like, depending on what circles you run in, I know like at least 30 people that you would call a Nazi that are trans.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it happens. Like, personally, I've never met someone of that leaning until today, or I guess yesterday when we did talk then. So, you know, yeah, I'll apologize for that. I made a bad judgment play there, but that doesn't make you any less abhorrent as a person. So, let's get into it. What else did you want to talk about outside of that?
Well, you can carry most of the conversation and the exact topics you want to talk about, but I do just want to start by saying that, like, I don't consider myself a Nazi. Like, yeah, okay, I'm a nationalist and I'm a socialist. I'm not a national socialist, because that term, while in theory, it should describe me, it has a lot of, like, connotations and stuff. It means a lot of things that I don't agree with.
So, would you consider
like,
yourself like a question? Would you consider yourself like a Strasserist?
Well, I call myself a trans, right? Because that's like sort of like, I don't perfectly align with it, but it's probably like the closest ideology. Because I remember when like Hitler coined, I'm not a Nazi, but like I'm not a national socialist, but I'm a nationalistic socialist. Like when Hitler coined the term like national socialist, he wasn't referring to socialism as we currently conceptualize it, because you have to remember that in Germany at the time, like beforehand, Hindenburg sort of like redefined socialism in the German context. So when Hitler called himself a national socialist, he wasn't referring to a nationalistic version of socialism as we understand it. He was referring to a nationalistic version of what Hindenburg had redefined socialism to mean in the German context. So I'm not a national socialist. I'm not a Nazi. You can...
Okay, not Nazi, but just has some very interesting opinions on the Holocaust and some very interesting opinions on race, but not a Nazi in the socialist aspect. Yeah. Okay, I get that. Yeah, so I guess I'll just call you a fascist, since that's what you effectively are. Let's talk about race a little bit. I like races, you know. I'm from North Carolina, good state of NASCAR.
We can talk about race.
Yeah, so I mean, I think this is better for you to explain. Personally, my opinion is that all races are pretty cool and deserve the right to live wherever they want next to each other. Cultural diversity is actually pretty cool. The cultural diversity, like some of the most successful nations on this planet are ones that are extremely culturally diverse, such as the United States of America, the most culturally diverse nation on the planet. Well, maybe not necessarily, but definitely one of the most culturally diverse nations on the planet, is currently the largest global superpower with the strongest economy, the strongest military if we're going by national standards. Let's talk about the country that you're from, Australia. Maybe not as diverse as the United States of America, but still fairly diverse. Fairly good nation economically, takes care of their citizens fairly well. And, you know, is a very culturally diverse nation. I don't necessarily know why ethno-states would be a good thing for us to advocate for, as you apparently were in call yesterday.
Well, I'm fine with diversity existing. Like, I support the right for like black people to exist, so long as we can exist as well. And that's sort of like the problem.
Okay, how's the existence how's the existence of like minorities assailing upon your right to exist?
Sure, because if current trends continue how they are, this is a well-established fact in like all of academia and politics. Like, this is not contested. If current trends continue in just a mere few hundred years, there will be no white people left. White people will not exist in a few hundred years. Now, I'm fine for black people and people of color to exist, so long as we can exist as well.
Can you pop me a source for that?
Current trends are pointing towards us going extinct, and I personally take issue with that.
Okay, so when you say current trends, can you like pop me a source for that, please? Like, you can DM it to me.
I'm not giving you a source for the fact that the sky is blue.
Okay, okay. So, how about this? What if white people just fucked more? That seems like a y'all issue. Okay, no, but for real, let's get into this. Let's get into this. The fact that you think that, like, a changing in demographics is, like, your race being assailed upon is a little weird, yeah? Personally, like, I'm just of the opinion that if, like, I, as a black person, if, black people were to start getting outbred is the term, I guess you would use. Like, I guess, like, more people that were not black were being born in this nation, I wouldn't feel assailed upon. That's actually happening in, I believe, last time, I ended up looking into this because I watched somebody debate someone else like you. I think one of the fastest growing ethnic groups in the United States of America based on birth rates and also immigration, of course, are Hispanic groups, to the point where they've actually overtaken, in terms of, like, percentage of population, like, black people in percentage of population. And I quite frankly don't give a fuck, because I think people have a right to exist, and I don't think that more of one group means less of my group. I mean, statistically, maybe, but at the same time, people are still being born. It just means that other groups are growing.
People's right to exist.
Yeah, you support people's... Wait. So you support people's right to exist, but you think that, like, other people existing is assailing upon you. White people aren't going to suddenly disappear. There are billions of white people across this planet. Just because other people are fucking doesn't mean that you people are disappearing. It just means that, like, demographics are just changing slightly a bit.
Because, well, no. In just a mere few hundred years, there will be no white people left.
Okay, so, like, a mere few hundred... By a mere few hundred years, like, what metric are you pointing to?
I don't know the exact... Well, we don't have an exact number of...
So you don't have the exact number, but you're saying things like a mere few hundred years, white people... In a few hundred years, white people will cease to exist. Like, what's going on there? Come on. If you're gonna make a claim like that, if you're gonna make a claim like that, dude, I would really like to see what you're basing that off.
I'm basing it off fucking academic consensus.
So where?
The fact that white people will not exist is not contested. This is not debated. This is well-established fact.
I mean, clearly it's being debated because you're sitting here talking to
about
me.
Whether or not the sky is blue.
I mean, the sky can be purple sometimes. Depends on how light refracts through the atmosphere. I can't speak. Yeah. So with that being said, since there are a multitude of ways that the sky can look, and there are a multitude of ways as data can appear to us, I'd like you to point me to the metric that you're using to say that, like, white people are suddenly gonna, like, cease to exist. Not suddenly, but, like, okay, yeah, not suddenly, over hundreds of years. I'd like for you to point me to that source. Or are you just... So,
what do you want?
Well, we're not talking about the sky. We're not talking about the sky. There are 8 billion people on this planet. We're not talking about the sky. We're talking about people.
Academic consensus. You are arguing against material
If it's... Wait, Cassandra. If this is academic consensus, then you should be able to point me to one source.
Jesus, I don't have sources saved for something that isn't debated.
Then pull up one. Google it. You have Google. You have Google.
Ask any of your compatriots, and they will all tell you, yes, this is a thing.
You have Google.
Some people.
You have Google.
They're fine with it.
You have Google. Just give me one source. I just want one source. Just drop me one source. Just drop me one source. You can drop me a source from a college. I don't care. Just give me one source.
I don't know what to Google.
I don't know why. I thought it was academic consensus. If it's academic consensus, then you should be able to find a source. Because you're lying. You're lying, and that's why I'm asking you. You know you're lying. Yeah, population rates change, but that doesn't mean that you're gonna, like, disappear in 200 years. That doesn't mean that people here are gonna disappear in 200 years.
Current trends continue. A mere few hundred years, white people as a distinct ethnic group will not exist. That is not contested.
Okay. Question. If that's not contested, yeah? And this is like a pretty 1-2 simple follow-up. If that's not contested, can you show me where that is asserted?
Jesus Christ.
Yeah? Listen, if you asked me to provide you, like, it is not contested that 25, like, the square root of 25 is 5. That isn't contested. but I can prove to you that the square root of 25 is 5 in multiple ways. Just because something isn't contested doesn't mean that it doesn't have a source to it. So I'm asking you to provide me a source, please. If it isn't contested, it should be exceedingly easy for you to provide me a source, because you're making a claim here. You're making a claim, the burden of proof is on you. Just give me one source, 2 sources from like a college, like a good accredited institution, not like fucking Breitbart or some shit. If it's a consensus, you should be able to find something.
Why don't you just open your eyes and listen to what the people in academia and politics are saying?
Okay, well, first of all, you listen with your ears, not your eyes.
I'm not good at Googling things and finding sources on the fly. I'm not good at finding sources on the fly. Like, what
then
do
maybe you should have.
from me?
Then maybe you should have had them like started with. Okay, you know what? Let's get off the source thing in general. Okay, let's suppose that what you're saying is true. Yeah, let's suppose
Literally
because okay. Let's suppose, because you haven't provided me anything to say about it. Let's suppose that it is true. What's bad about it?
Well, personally, I believe that as a people, white people have a right to exist.
I believe that white people have a right to exist too. Yes, I don't think that anyone should be murdering white people for being white. So, again, how are other demographics growing in size a threat to you?
Okay, so when people... well, it comes down to ultimately like dominant and recessive genes. And there's enough people within the within a population of certain dominant genes, and they're afforded the same rights as the rest of them, and things like miscegenation are promoted. This will then obviously lead to interbreeding, in which the dominant genes will mask the recessive genes. And if there's enough people within the population with those dominant genes to then eventually, over time, completely mask all of the white genes and get to the point where white people as a typical group do not exist.
Okay, so if I may ask, what particular phenotypes do you think constitute white people?
Being white.
Being white. I know plenty of light-skinned black people, like extremely white black people.
If
like black people that you like black people that you would look at. No, I'm related to like 2 people. Actually, they are my aunts. I'm related to them. If you looked at them, you would think that they were white women.
Good for them.
Yeah. So, again, if we're arguing phenotypically, what's going on there? Like, what specific phenotypes? Because it's not just white skin, obviously. That denotes a white person.
Genes are vulnerable. White genes are vulnerable.
Okay.
They're beautiful and they are precious.
So, which genes in particular can you, like... Okay, again, like, okay, outside of genes, yeah, let's not get in... Okay, how about phenotypes? What phenotypes? You mentioned phenotypes, let's talk about phenotypes. Which phenotypes in particular? Yeah, don't read me off like fucking thousand fucking codon length gene sequences. What phenotypes in particular do you want to protect? Like, what phenotypes do you think constitute white people?
Beautiful, fair, white skin.
Fair, white skin, beautiful. So would you consider my, like those people that I mentioned that I'm related to, would you consider them white?
Well, I don't know. I haven't seen them. I don't know anything about them. I don't know their cultural, like, were they raised in black communities? I don't know enough about them to say.
Yeah. But I thought it was phenotypes, not culture.
Well, if they are partly ethnically black and culturally fully black, then they're black. Like, you're trying to get me on a cheap gotcha. Like,
wait. They're also culturally Hispanic. Like Puerto Rican. Like, they have European ancestry. I have European ancestry.
Okay, cool. Okay, so what? You're 1/4 Puerto Rican. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure that anyone could just look at you and they're gonna say, "Hey, that's a Puerto Rican." No, they're not. You're black.
Yeah, and you're white. So what about it? Yeah, there are many different groups of people that look different and have like particular phenotypes that look a certain way. You know, Ariana Grande is white, but a lot of people think that she's like Latino.
She's just really tanned, isn't she? That's her deal, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but like she's Italian. Italians can get really tan, so if it's like fair white skin, then what about Italians? Where do Italians fit into your marker there?
Yeah, sure, but look, I'm not like an Aryan supremacist. I use a pretty broad definition of what I consider to be white. I'm fairly liberal with who I consider to be white.
Well, yeah, that's why I'm like asking,
like
at what point do you consider someone to be white?
I'm not like a Nordic supremacist.
What about someone who's like half white? How about 75% actually? How about that? Do you consider that person to be white if they're like 75% like genetically white?
They're phenotypically and culturally white, then they're white. If they are neither or either of those things, then no.
Okay, so what if you're half and half? What if you're like phenotypically white, but like culturally, like, I don't know, like Mexican? Or what if you're, I shouldn't say Mexican, that's a specific country.
Mexicans aren't
About
white
like
anyway,
Latino.
so.
Yeah, because there are like black Mexicans, white Mexicans. How about this? Like, phenotypically white, but like culturally, let's say like Nigerian. Would you consider that person white? Like, they are a white person, but they were raised by black people in Nigeria.
They say that ethnically they are still white and they still carry white genes. However, culturally, they would probably culturally more align with the values and the culture of black people, which you could argue is would make them more incompatible with the rest of white society. Also, I'm sorry, it's raining outside. I hope that's not picking up on the mic.
Okay.
Because I'm sorry.
Well, no, I can. Shit, you get rain in Australia? I thought most of that place was a fucking desert.
We do get rain in
Holy
Australia
shit.
sometimes.
Yeah, I'm fucking with you. I actually have a teacher from Australia. He's quite nice. You know, he doesn't believe in ethno states.
Yeah.
Shockingly.
Oh yeah, best country on earth.
That's why he left. Indeed. So moving on from that. Well, not moving on from that. Let's get into this because I'm really trying to figure out what you consider to be a white person. Because, like you said, that someone who is like
a white person
someone who's
someone
like, well,
who you look at and is white.
Okay, so again, like the people that I'm related to who look white, but were raised black. Yeah. You wouldn't? Would you consider those people white?
If they are genetically like pretty much entirely white, like if they're 1/32 black but mostly white, but I would consider them to be white. But, however, if they're raised in black culture and they act like black people and they are, for practical purposes, culturally black, then I would still not consider them to be someone who should be not someone who should be welcome in a civilized white society.
Okay. So is Eminem white?
Yeah.
Are the Kardashians white?
Well, they're Armenian, and I use a fairly liberal definition of white, so yes, I do personally consider Armenians to be white.
Okay. What about Iranians? Do you consider them to be white?
Persians, yes.
Persians?
Iran does have a bit of like cultural diversity. They do have some other ethnicities that have interbred, but like a pure Persian, yeah, I would probably consider them to be white.
Okay. What about an Indian man? Would you consider him to be white?
I would not consider an Indian to be white.
Okay. What about a Afrikaner? Would you consider them to be white?
Afrikaners being Dutch South Africans, yes?
Yeah. Well, like, Afrikaners, like, it's technically a specific group in that area, but, like, would you consider them to be white?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, what about someone who is half Afrikaner, half black, but was raised in, like, a white society, but, like, they look black?
They're black. Because if they're carrying enough black genes for it to be dominant enough that it would be visible in their offspring, and that their offspring would be visibly black, then they are black for all practical purposes.
Okay, so if that person were to have a child with someone else who has, like, who's also, like, half Afrikaner, half black, but was also raised in white society, and they were to pass on both of their recessive genes, because that is something that can happen, and their child ended up looking like a bouncing baby, blonde hair, blue eyes, Aryan boy. Not because before you say, oh, I don't believe in the Aryan thing, yeah, that's me joking there. But if they were to turn out a child who was like blonde hair, blue eyes, like would be mistaken for a white kid, would you consider that kid white, even though they are technically half black, if we're continuing on that quantum?
Oh no, because they wouldn't be half black if like their parents are both like half black, half white, and through some extraordinarily unlikely miracle, the exact white half of both is what gets passed on, then that person would be genetically white. If they were raised in a white society, which I would contest whether or not they would be. If both your parents are black, even if you live in a white society, you're probably going to end up having some black cultural features. But theoretically, yeah, sure. But like, what is the point of this nippy? Why are you trying to zone in on such specific examples? Like, what's the end goal here? What point are you trying
Because
to make?
I'm trying to figure out
doing?
what the fuck you consider whiteness, because whiteness is largely a social construct, just like all races are a social construct. Keep in mind, 200 years ago in the United States of America, Irish people were not considered white. Italians were not considered white. Many Spanish people were not considered white, despite the fact that many Hispanic people, have immense amounts of white European ancestry within them. Not everyone is descendant of Creoles. Despite that fact, in the United States of America, not like a vast majority of Hispanic people aren't necessarily seen as white. Like, even if they are white, they are not seen as white by many Americans. So I'm trying to figure out what you mean by white, because it seems like everyone with your belief set has like a different opinion on what constitutes white.
I am well aware that intra-European racism has existed, and to a lesser degree does exist today. I would personally say that intra-European racism is quite a bit like leftist infighting, but I'm well aware of this fact. Like, Adolf Hitler would have not considered me to be white. He would have considered me inferior. He would have called me part of the Untermensch. I'm half Slav, half Spanish. So obviously I recognize what you're saying. And as I've said, I use a fairly liberal phenotypical and cultural definition. Like, okay, so sure, that's how we're defining it. Phenotypically and culturally white.
Okay. So what about Michael Jackson?
He's black.
But he looked like a white man towards his death. He married white people.
Yeah, because he had some fucking medical condition or some shit that made his skin go fucky.
Yeah, he had vitiligo. It's almost like skin color is like
a black guy with a
the
medical
important
condition
thing.
is still a black guy.
Okay. What about a black guy who was like born white and like looks completely white but is like fully genetically black? Like in that scenario, would you consider that person white? What if they got adopted by a white family?
If a black person with albinism raised by a white family, would they, even if you are albino, would you still pass on color genes? I'm not sure. Entirely potentially, like, I don't know.
Well, the entire reason why in that situation someone is albino, it's because their color genes are Walter, this is a one-on-one.
No, can I just watch?
Yeah. I am streaming if you want to watch though.
Watch on YouTube.
Yeah, my bad. I didn't know.
You're good, dude.
I'll silence.
You're good, dude. But yeah. Fuck, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, like in someone who's albino, like, and that's it. Okay. Fuck, I lost my train of thought there. Okay, you go on with what you were gonna say. I'm tired. Had a long day.
I feel like this conversation is kind of pointless. I feel like we're just going around in circles. Like, oh, is this a niche example? Do they technically meet your criteria?
Well,
like,
that's why I'm giving it to you so that you can
really see what's the point of obsessing over these niche examples. Like, it really does not matter.
Well, that's why I'm giving it to you so that you can move your topic along, because you know, like at this point, I'm seeing that it's going to be very difficult to nail you down on what you consider a white person, which isn't shocking, you know, considering your whole weird racial politics. So, you know, you can move on to like, why do you think it's so important to like preserve like birth rates among like white people? Like, why do you think like ethnostates would be a good thing to like help preserve that? Why do you think it's needed?
Well, as I was talking, are you done?
I am done.
Right, what was I gonna say? As I was saying to the other person the other day, like, ethnostates aren't a one-size-fits-all solution. I'm not saying that, like, oh, just get rid of brown people and then suddenly everything will be great. Like, no, of course not. I'm not a fucking idiot. Train of thought. Am I? Yeah, so white people, like all races of people, have a right to continue to exist. For example, like, if in 300 years there was no black people, I would not want that. I would want you to have a right to exist as a distinct group of people. Earlier, you mentioned diversity, and I'm all for diversity. I don't want this cultural homogeneity. People talk about like the great like melting pot. Like, well, a melting pot, everything goes in diverse and comes out homogenous. Like, that's not diversity. Like, this current thing we have where we're just importing like brown people and ethnic minorities from all over the world, mix them together. That's not diversity. That's homogenizing culture. So every country has their own vibrant, unique culture, and that makes a more diverse world than just trying to mush everything together into one homogenous, brown schlock. So I think white people have a right to exist, to protect diversity. So I think that white people have a right to exist, as I think any reasonable person would agree. We have the right to existence. Like, I don't think any reasonable person would disagree with that. I would say the same about black people, as I not to belabor the point. So what do we do about that? So, well, part of the solution is obviously like ethno-nationalism.
Okay. No, that is not the obvious answer of that equation. Yeah, there are many ways that you can preserve cultures that used to exist that do like die off, because cultures have died off before in like museums. But like, again, you would have to point me to actual evidence that white people are getting like outbreeded to the point that you're going to start dying off, which you haven't provided me.
You are correct. I haven't provided you a source that the sky is blue.
I mean, you can't say that the sky... Well, I can tell you why the sky is blue. I can give you sources. I can give you sources as to why the sky is blue. Those exist. You haven't given me sources about this.
And my sources do exist as well. I'm just not good at...
Then give them to me.
Finding academic articles on the fly. Just ask anyone. Just fucking ask one of your lefty content creator compatriots, and they will agree. They might disagree with my conclusions, but they will most certainly agree with all of my premises, because my premises are firmly grounded in reality. Like, they may disagree with my conclusions, but like, the thing is, like, anyone with any amount of knowledge on this topic agrees that in a mere few hundred years, white people will not exist. The white race will be extinct. It's just that some people are okay with that, and some people aren't okay with that.
Okay, what do you...
I personally am not okay with that.
Okay.
Nobody disagrees with the basic premises. Nobody disagrees with the core premises.
Okay. If no one disagrees, once again, can you give me something? Give me a source?
Jesus Christ! I thought you said you were going to move on from this point.
I mean, again, I'm just saying you're making very strong claims.
Cass, can I just give a source for her?
Yeah.
I just found one, like with a quick Google search. I can give you it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Birth rates.
You may.
Yeah, sure. Let me link it in the text chat. Sorry, I just couldn't sit here with this person.
Thank you,
It's
Walter.
literally on Google. It's all on Google.
Thank you, Walter.
There was a study within the United States of America when it came to like white birth rates. They're lower than Hispanics, but the low birth rate within like America among like demographics is not substantial enough to be like within 100 years that the white race will be extinct, and especially worldwide.
Thank you, Walter.
Yeah. It's nonsense.
Yeah.
Thank you for your contribution. Okay, but it's not just about declining white birth rates. Obviously, that is a factor, but it's not just about the birth rate. It's about the birth ratio. Like, if two white people have 2 kids, that's replacement rate. Actually, the replacement rate's 2.1 because people who die in infancy. So every couple has 2.1 kids, that's replacement rate. But it's not just about the birth rates. It's also to do with like ratios. So if we're importing in more brown people, then the ratio of white people go down. And the more the increase of POC, the more of a risk they pose to the existence of the white gene pool. Because if you have like 100 white people and 1 black person, and they all start interbreeding, that's not going to lead to the extinction of the white race. Because even though those black genes are dominant, they're not going to be able to be that dominant that they're going to be able to destroy the entire gene pool. Like,
okay, if I may say, you're using like a lot of strong language, like destroy, and like, you haven't said corrupt, but I wouldn't be shocked if that flew out of your mouth. Like, can we like make this a little less emotional whenever you're arguing this? Let's go a little scientific in this. Let's go a little scientific in this, because like, you are like a couple of sentences away from just straight up doing the 14 words.
Want me to do the 14 words?
I mean, you can.
Yeah, we should. We need to secure a homeland for our people and a future for trans children.
You switched it up a little bit there. Switched it up a little bit there, because you know how bad it... Yeah, I see what you did there. It's kind of weak, if I'm being honest.
Can I just add this source of knowledge? There are plenty of like European countries that don't have heavy immigration, and if you don't want heavy immigration, you should probably stop like messing with the brown countries, so that those people don't come to your country seeking asylum. And I don't think by brown people existing is threatening your existence at all.
Although you're not supposed to be part of this debate, that is a really good point. Thanks for bringing that up. So, Georgia Maloney, based Queen Georgia Maloney. She recently did a whole thing criticizing Emmanuel Macron and the French government, their economic neoliberal imperialism, the former Francophone nations of Africa. Because you see, the French government pushed neoliberal policies in these African countries with the express intent of keeping them poor. And so what this does, obviously it hurts the nations of Africa. This hurts the African people. And this also leads them to be poor and desperate, which then leads them to try to seek asylum in white countries. If we cut
wait, Cassandra, you do realize...
Please just give me a second to finish my point.
Yes.
If we cut back on economic imperialism, this will both help the African people within the African nations to be less poor and to help them thrive in their own countries, as well as making it so that they don't feel the need to come to ours and contaminate our gene pools.
Okay, contaminate, you're using some very strong words here. May I point out the fact also, Cassandra, the only reason why Giorgia Meloni was fucking complaining about that is because Italy really doesn't have a good doorstep in Africa, because despite being part of the Le Glorious white race, they're really bad at fucking colonizing other nations. Go figure.
They failed to colonize East Africa, right? Ethiopia.
Get the third person who's not meant to be part of this debate out of here. Get on out of here.
Okay.
Get on. Thank you.
Walter, I love you. I
watch
think.
On YouTube. Watch on YouTube.
I love you, Walter. Walter, on YouTube, I love you, dude. I love you, dude. Okay, so moving forward, going on. Yeah, no, so despite being part of, like, the epic white race, like, Italy did a really bad job at trying to colonize Africa.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Italy didn't do that much colonialism. Is that not a good thing? Are we not anti-colonialism here?
I mean, I am anti-colonialism. I'm just saying, you know, if white people should be, hold up. If white people should be preserved, yeah, I agree. Maybe stop destabilizing countries in, like, the Middle East. But that seems like a y'all issue.
Sorry, what?
Like, yeah, if, like, a race thinks that they should be preserved, maybe stop destabilizing countries and, like, making them flock to your countries. But with that being said, Cassandra, one second.
I'm in isolation.
Cassandra.
Military isolation.
Cassandra.
To help us and to help those countries.
Cassandra. With that being said, what's your plan as an Australian? Like, if, like, Aboriginals want an ethno-state?
Oh, let them have a tiny little plot of land out in the middle of the desert. Why the fuck would I care?
Okay, why don't you get the fuck off of their land? I mean, that's what you want Africans in Europe to do, apparently, from the way that you're, like, communicating, so why don't you just get the fuck off of their land? They're there first.
Country.
It was their country first.
I'm here now.
It was their country first, coward.
This is my country. This is a white man country.
Is it a white man country?
We own this place.
And get the fuck out, white woman. And get the fuck out. Let it be a fucking man country, you know?
Man can be contextually a gender-neutral word.
Oh, I know. I just want to fuck with you. Yeah. Well, I mean, how about this? What about, like, all of the penal colony shit that went on in Australia? Do you think that should be preserved, too?
All of the what, sorry?
The penal colony. You know?
The prison colony that was set up 250 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, actually, it should be noted that most of the, convicts who were taken to Australia in the First Fleet and subsequent fleets as well, these were primarily people who committed, like, petty crimes, things such as stealing bread to feed their starving families. Because at the time, the UK was desperately poor, and these people were starving.
But they're white. They should have been better. They should have been better. I thought y'all were built different. I thought y'all had, like, recessive genes that needed to be protected. Why the fuck are y'all shipping each other off to, like, shitty fucking hot-ass rocks in the middle of the fucking ocean?
I don't know, take that up with the British Crown of the late 1700s. Like, what? The point I'm trying to make is that people often talk about Australia like it was a nation founded by criminals. In truth, this nation was built from day one by good, honourable men. The people on the First Fleet, the people who came to this country, yes, many of them were prisoners, they were convicts, but they were people primarily who were arrested for noble crimes of trying to provide for their family in desperate economic conditions.
Yes.
This nation is a nation founded by good people, and I fundamentally reject the narrative of it being like prison country with all the criminals. Like, I fundamentally reject that bullshit narrative.
I mean, I do too, but if we're talking about, you know, things like sins of the father, might as well. I think it's also a funny joke, you know, the whole penal colony shit.
But it's inaccurate and a bit offensive, but I definitely see humor in it.
Yeah, trust me, I don't give a fuck about what you find offensive.
Can I just like pose a question while we're in this Dunlock real quick?
Yeah, sure,
like,
you can. Hey,
I just pose a question because it's been on
Last
my mind
question,
for
we
so
are
long.
leaving.
Cassandra.
Yes, I will stay silent. All right. You are
So what's on
LGBTQ,
YouTube?
correct?
Do you not have YouTube? Do you have YouTube? What's on YouTube? This is being live streamed on YouTube.
Question, good ma'am. Calm down. I'm not gonna like be mean to you this time. All right. You say you are LGBTQ, correct? That is the question.
Correct.
Do you believe that LGBTQ within like an ethno state would really be protected if you are focused on protecting your race? Do you really think that same-sex marriage within this system would really be prohibited by your other white colleagues?
When it comes
There's an inconsistency there.
When it comes to social issues, white countries and white people are overwhelmingly far more progressive. This is something I was saying the other day on Twitter about like Muslims and the fact that in a lot of Islamic countries that they throw queer people off roofs.
Wait.
I'm like, in a civilized white country, we don't do that. In white countries, we support, like, gay culture is an important aspect of white culture.
Wait,
Question. Important that we protect gay and trans rights by keeping out Muslims and brown people.
Hold up. Cassandra, didn't you just say that you consider Persians white? You know, like people who live in Iran? Like a Muslim majority nation?
Well, like, but don't get me wrong. Like,
I thought they were white to you.
When it comes to LGBT issues within the Middle East.
I thought they were white to you, though. And what about nations that you would consider white that, like, are not all that socially progressive in terms of queer people? Like Armenians. You said that you consider Armenians white. The nation of Armenia is not particularly progressive on queer issues. So what's going on with that?
Can we add the fact that multiple politicians within Europe support these far-right groups and push anti-gay policies all the fucking time? Like, can we think about like all the shit that happened down in Poland as well recently?
Correct. There is diversity amongst white people. White people don't all...
There is a massive percentage of your population that would not approve of your lifestyle, and you'd cause infighting, just like you always have infighting among Europeans and other groups as well. But primarily when it comes to issues, yes. So why do you think that an ethno state would be an automatic solve to tribalism within your own people? And why do you think gay people would suddenly not be attacked within this own ethno state amongst yourselves? If you want to protect your own birth rates, it seems counterproductive if you are truly LGBTQ and not using it as the skin to be a Nazi.
Not saying that ethno states are a one-size-fits-all solution. I'm not trying to say that there would be no homophobia if there was no...
within this ethno state?
I don't deny there are homophobic white people, a lot of them, and a lot of them have a lot of power.
Yo, this shit is fucking phenomenal.
Dealing with them day one.
This is great. This is going phenomenal.
When they see your gay white person.
Anyway.
No,
Chat, how are we feeling? I'm muted right now. How are we feeling?
Within these ethno states, there's not going to be a diversity of thought. You're all going to have to be on code when it comes to the ethno states.
Yeah, I would also like to interrupt. Right quick, like right after Cassandra responds to that question, I'll let that happen. I'll say, Cassandra, if you want, we can move it into, like, a private call. Nothing against you, Walter. You've asked great questions. It's just, I saw, like, someone else join, and I don't want this to turn into, like,
Kick everyone out. Kick
a
them
shit
all out.
fest.
I did not sign up for a 5v1 dog pile. I signed up for a one-on-one, good faith, friendly-ish conversation.
Yeah. So, like, if you want to answer Walter's question, which, you know, I think it was a good question, I'd say answer it. It could add, like, more context as to, what you're saying. Then, like, after that, we can move into, like, a 1v1.
Ethno-nationalism is a one-size-fits-all solution to literally every single problem. Homophobia exists now. Homophobia would potentially exist in a white-only ethno state. And all I said with that comment was that the amount of it would probably be less than if we imported people from these Islamic countries where it is normal standard practice, these barbaric treatments of gay people in those countries. So there would be less homophobia, but I'm not just trying to say that like homophobia just wouldn't exist. Like, yes, it would still be a problem that we would face, and it would still be an issue that we would have to overcome. I'm not denying that.
Okay. Yeah, with that being said, let's move into a call. I will call you in DMs. How about that?
No worries.
This is... Okay. We are now in DMs. Speak right quick just to make sure I can hear you.
Hello, testing, 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Okay. But yeah, that was a really interesting thing that Walter brought up. But, you know, I think you answered that. We can move on from that. So what have we all said so far? The sky's blue, I guess.
Indeed.
Yeah. We've also talked about... We talked about why you think it is a bad thing for demographics to change. You do realize that, like, oh god, my voice cracked. You do realize that, like, other groups increasing in demographic size doesn't necessarily mean that, like, white people are gonna fucking die out, right? Like, there are still billions of white people on this planet.
I'm fine with there being other demographics. Like, when I talk about, like, ethno-nationalism, I don't think that having, like, a pure ethno-state is a realistic, viable, or even necessary solution. Like, it is, to me, it is okay to have small, self-contained pockets of true and ethnic diversity within an otherwise ethno-nationalist country.
Okay.
It's fine. Like, my problem is when they get to a certain percentage of the population from which they henceforth pose an existential threat to the continued existence of the white race.
Okay, so let's say hypothetically you have your ethno-state. Let's put you in a... Well, let's, outside of Australia. Australia isn't necessarily the best nation climate-wise. What's a good nation climate-wise? Let's say, we'll plonk y'all down on, like, Hawaii. Let's say at a certain point, Hawaii isn't a nation, it's a state, but it's a pretty state. Should be a nation, though.
Hawaii, their beaches, it's rocks. They don't have any sand on their beaches, or at least they didn't until Australia stole them a bunch of sand. All of the sand at Hawaiian beaches was actually purchased by Hawaii from Australia. So all the sand there is actually Australian sand that we gave to them.
Okay. Okay, so it is, okay. You know, let's just call it Australia 2. The first Australian colony. And let's say you have an ethno-state in that colony, and you have, like, little ethnic enclaves of, like, you know, like, let's say, like, Black, Hispanic, Asian people. And you stated that, like, at a certain point when those groups become, like, too large to the point where they start to, in your words, like, pose a threat to, like, white demographics on that island, what do you think should be done to those groups of people?
What I think should be done? That's a bit of a complicated issue, because, like, I don't support violence. I don't want to say that people should be violently deported. I don't support that. My problem it's not so much that we should be deporting existing people of color from within white nations, it's that we shouldn't be importing more. I don't want to exterminate ethnic minorities. I don't want to deport ethnic minorities. I mean, sure, and encourage them to leave and go to their own countries. Sure, that'd be great. Okay. But I do not support, like, rounding them up and killing them or deporting them or anything. I just think that we shouldn't be importing even more.
Okay, so let's say in this hypothetical nation, I'm just going to call it Strasserstan from now on. Let's say in Strasserstan, there is no immigration from outside groups. It's just purely people fucking and making babies. So what if these groups start to, like, outproduce? What do you do then? There is no immigration. No one is being imported. What do you do then?
And we should do something that I would support anyway, which is the promotion of pro-natalist policies to help increase the birth rate. And an important one of these is actually economic conditions, because a lot of times people won't have kids if they can't afford to have kids. So things like unionization, things like worker cooperatives, things that to help the economic conditions, things like more welfare for parents, things like government programs to help teach skills to new parents, like parenting skills, education in schools, like all of these policies that will make it people more financially able to and feel more comfortable to pursuing families. So I think with pro-natalist policies, of which there are many potential routes, I think, pro-natalist policies should be promoted.
Okay, and would you think, potentially, do you think these pro-natalist policies should go to, like, benefit the ethnic minorities in this country as well, or do you think that they should be deprived of this?
Sure, let them have the same access to material resources, sure.
Okay, so then, at that point, you would be fucking, like, again, we already established this, like, in Strasserstan, they were already fucking fast, and then you just gave them the tools to fuck faster that were meant for you. So what do you do now? They're still, like, outperforming you. What do you do?
If they cross over a certain threshold in which they do pose a threat to the continued existence of white people, obviously this isn't ideal, but I don't support, I wouldn't go straight to deportation. In this situation, I would probably suggest offering economic incentives to relocate. How about that?
Economic incentives. And what if they don't take that because their family has been there for generations and they don't want to leave?
We'll round them up, put them on boats, and ship them to Africa.
And what if no one in Africa wants to take them? That happened before. In many genocides, people tried to escape the countries and the countries would not accept them. So what happens if that happens?
That's their problem to deal with. I don't fucking care.
I mean, they're just going to get routed back to your nation if no one else is going to accept them. So what do you do then? They're stuck back in your nation, your boat idea didn't fucking work. You can, like, spirit them away to fucking, like, Côte d'Ivoire. So what do you do now?
Let them figure it out. We don't allow them in, and they can fucking deal with it themselves for all I care.
So that'll just lead to them, like, starving on a boat. You fine with that? Bunch of people starving on a boat?
And that's their choice. If they want to starve on a boat, they can starve on a boat.
I mean, it's not really their choice, is it? Like, you know?
You
said you weren't gonna let them back in if they came back. So, like, you would be leaving them to starve on a fucking boat. That's on you.
In such a situation where there was so much of them that they did genuinely pose a threat, we wouldn't let them back in.
All right.
I don't see this as your realistic thing. I don't think this is realistically going to happen. I don't. This is a hypothetical situation that I don't believe is grounded in the current material reality.
Well, yeah, I don't either, because ethnostates aren't grounded in material reality at all. Almost every ethnostate on this nation that is, like, culturally homogenous ends up being, like, almost always not a very good nation to live in.
If you're talking about things like South Korea and Japan, yeah, those are neoliberal hellscapes. Obviously, as I've said many times, ethnostates are not a one-size-fits-all solution. Japan is a great example of that. Their country is a fucking hellscape. Like, Japan. I would hate to live in Japan. It's not because ethnostates, like, it's because of their fucking neoliberal economics and their fucking, like, the capitalist end of culture and, like, yeah, like, it's not, yeah, there are still issues that ethno-nationalist countries face. Those things can be addressed with things like socialism and pro-worker policies and promotion of community.
Well, I think every nation would benefit from pro-worker policies, but that doesn't mean that that doesn't mean that we should have ethnostates, though.
Separate issues.
I mean, yeah, separate issues, but at the same time, you know, that isn't always a band-aid that can fix everything. Cultural homogeneity isn't always good. Like, keep in mind, the entire reason why Japan's work culture is so fucking toxic is because Japanese culture, in terms of working, is not the best. It's very much so a, you know, be extremely deferential to the people who are above you. Don't really complain. Take extreme amounts of overtime. This is something that's just a carry-on. This is just something that is a carry-on from cultures in the past. Yeah,
American imperialism and neoliberal. Well, it's a combination of things. Like, the neoliberal economics imperialism in Japan post-World War II was definitely a large contributing factor to this.
Yeah, but that also helped, like, build their economy. Like, I agree, nations should go socialist, but considering the fact that Japan went from, like, a highly militaristically industrialized state to, like, a neoliberal state, neoliberalism isn't necessarily the best fucking thing, but, like, it was an improvement at the time, most certainly.
You said that, like, America helped them build their economy, but the thing is, like, having a strong economy is only good insofar as it helps the lives of the working people. Like, people talk about efficiency and productivity and GDP, and these things, they only matter insofar as they actually help the working people. So I don't see, like, oh, numbers going up, oh, this country is productive. Yeah, but, like, the country is productive, but the lives of the everyday working people are terrible and horrible and deeply atomizing.
Yeah. So what about, like, highly productive nations that are, like, culturally diverse, too?
About them.
Yeah. So, like, do you think that they're, like, compared to an ethnostate, do you think that they're good?
Be economically productive and have multiple different ethnic groups within it. I'm not saying these things aren't at odds.
Okay. So then let's split you from the socialism thing, and then let's just talk about race in particular. Yeah. Because that's the main thing that I just want to focus on. Okay? So I'm just going to go ahead and make my arguments. I've asked you a lot about what you believe. I'm just going to go ahead and state it outright. I do not give a fuck if your fifis feel hurt because you saw, like, someone on YouTube claim that, like, you know, white people are being fucking outbred, and then you can't even provide me a simple source that Walter, based God, we love Walter, was able to provide with a simple Google. Yeah? Which I told you could do. Okay? Listen, the fact of the matter is, I don't give a fuck about your fifis. I do not care if you think that, like, oh my god, white people are being outbred. You aren't. Other people groups are increasing in size. Please also do not interrupt me. I'm going to ask you that nicely. Other people groups are simply increasing in size, and if you cannot handle that, then oh fucking well. Other people have a right to exist, just as you have a right to exist. But people,
I agree.
not people, wait. People not fucking enough, and then other people fucking more than them, does not mean that you're being assailed upon. It does not mean that your genetics are being destroyed, nor does it mean that your genetics are special and should be preserved. I don't think anyone's genetics should be preserved. I don't give a fuck if any people group gets fucking outbred. Yeah? Just like I do not give a fuck if, like, suddenly fucking a bunch of, like a plague happened in fucking Australia, and then, like, suddenly a bunch of, I don't know, like, some like obscure ethnic group with like 2 people died off. Would it be unfortunate? Yes. It would be unfortunate. But guess what? They don't deserve a fucking ethno-state, just like you don't deserve an ethno-state. You do not get the right to restrict people's movement and where they live just because you think that some fucking phenotypes are special and should be fucking preserved. Because I don't give a fuck. Phenotypes are quite literally only skin deep. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. What matters is human happiness. What matters is human good, and you are against that because you want to control people.
No, I do believe that genetic differences do go a little bit more than skin deep. There are definitely
phenotypes are skin deep. Phenotypes are skin
sure,
deep.
Phenotypes are skin deep. When I talk about, because like the thing is, like the other more internal characteristics about like behavioral and like the behaviors to which certain ethnic groups are inclined,
such as
it does exist.
Such
However,
as
it is also something
such
that can
as
be shaped.
1 second. Such as
Okay, well, like, I'm not gonna say that like certain groups are like superior to others. Like we're all special in our own separate ways.
Okay, so which
White
behavioral traits are you talking about? Such as, because you mentioned behavioral
like
traits.
white
Point to
people.
them.
People are better at building civilizations and societies.
Are
People
you
are
now?
better at.
Are you
People
now?
are better at throwing big rock. I'm not saying one is better than the other. It just personally, I value whiteness and white traits more. Personally,
Okay, so
I respect.
Can you
your
please
right to
tell me?
exist.
Can you please tell me why the region of the world that has the longest standing continuous societies is like full of brown people? Could you also tell me why
Are you
one of the
referring to, like, the Middle East, like Iran?
yeah actually in particular Iraq. Yeah.
Society rising and then falling and then rising again and then falling again. Like sure,
But
there's
it's still
still
been
people
a continuous
living there, as
society.
it has been for thousands
There-
of years,
they-
but
it's still been a
still, it's
continuous
not one
society.
Continuous society.
I mean, not necessarily a continuous society, but there have been continuous instances of society in that particular region. Yeah.
Oh, they build a civilization, then they collapse, then they build a new one, then they collapse. Good for them.
Yeah. So what about, like, in places like Asia, East Asia, China? Again, one of the largest continuous societies on the planet. What about China? Huh? That's not full of
Obviously,
white people.
Well, yeah, okay, obviously Asians have an extra level of intelligence that white people and black people definitely lack, but there's a level
Okay,
of
then.
sophistication to the white people that the Chinese do.
And what about black people in, say, Ethiopia? Like, you know, the Kingdom of Aksum. The Kingdom of Aksum, we can talk about Aksum. We can talk about the Malian Empire. There are many things in Africa that we can talk about that were societies and empires that existed.
I'm not denying that African warlords got together a lot of people.
They weren't warlords. Actually, no, technically all emperors are warlords, but yeah, they also did public works.
And then they started selling each other to the white people.
Hey, Hey, sweetheart, did you know the first public university, the first public work, not first public work, but did you know that the first public university to provide education to the people is in Timbuktu? It was part of the Malian Empire. Did you know that? I bet you didn't know that because you're too hung up on skin tone than actual history.
Who the fuck cares?
Who the fuck cares? I care because you're proclaiming that certain people groups weren't able to form societies or didn't form societies, or that some groups were better at forming societies, or that some groups were better at forming societies. No, these weren't shit societies. Barbaric societies? You do realize that the Malian Empire was one of the richest empires to ever exist, right?
And what happened the moment white people showed up? They invaded their neighbors, enslaved
the Malian Empire stopped long before that, mainly because their trade routes collapsed. It's almost like nations are more complex than skin tone. Yeah, that's why you're making those na sounds, because you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You know nothing about history. You know nothing about history because you're more hung up on your fucking skin tone than actually learning about things, than actually learning about public works, than actually learning about societies across the world, because you think that your society is so fucking special. It isn't. Societies have existed for not hundreds of thousands of years, but tens of thousands of years, and they will continue to exist into the fucking future. You being white doesn't make your society special. Okay?
Well, no, I'm not gonna...
Which is why your nation of Australia started in part as a fucking penal colony. You descendant of prisoners.
Descendant of good, honorable men who were...
And prisoners.
...for trying to provide for their family.
And prisoners.
Well, I don't give a fuck if you call someone a prisoner. I'm fucking pro-prison reform. Like, a lot of people in the prison system are good, honorable people who shouldn't be in the prison system. Like, I don't say, oh, that person...
Oh, I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. I agree wholeheartedly. I'm just saying, you know? I mean, I personally think it's a bit of a I think it is a bit of a barbaric thing to ship people off to a fucking deserted rock. Well, not deserted, but to like a rock in the middle of the fucking ocean because you don't want to deal with their petty crimes. I think that's a little uncivilized. That's why I'm harping on the fucking prisoner thing.
Prisons in the UK were vastly overcrowded, and so that was the best option they had. They thought they'd bring them here. Like, remember that the convicts only really served like a couple of months to a couple of years as like working as prison labor captive in the colony, and then like within a couple of years they were all let free, and they lived as free citizens building this great nation.
So if I may ask, do you think the prisons being overcrowded in the UK might point to like one of the behavioral traits of like fucking Angloids being being like a predisposition to like petty criminality? Do you think that might be evidence of that, of like your prisons being fucking overrun in England?
What?
How about that?
What it points to?
Yeah. What do you think it points to?
And a desperation. It was incredibly poor. People were incredibly desperate. This was the Industrial Revolution. People's life expectancies was going way down. Living conditions in the UK at the time were hell. Yeah, people were desperate. And desperate people commit crimes of like petty theft, trying to steal food to provide for their family. Yes, it's not caused by the fact that there was a lot of prisoners in the UK in the 1700s wasn't caused by the inferiority of Angloids. It was caused by the economic conditions and the desperation of the time.
And what do you think caused those poor economic conditions? Maybe wait. Maybe Angloids. Hold on. Question. Maybe Angloids are just far worse at actually building societies that care about one another and actually care about, you know, protecting people. If you want to make genetic arguments, if you want to make like spurious genetic arguments, I can too. I don't believe in them, but I can, because it's almost like these arguments are fucking stupid and you can use it to justify anything.
Okay, well, no, but in the UK and in France, the Industrial Revolution was paving new ground, never before trodden by anyone in humanity. Was it slightly mismanaged? Sure. Could it have been handled better? Sure. But they were innovating, they were treading new ground, they were going where humanity had never gone before.
Alright, and there are many countries to this day that are still doing that.
What, industrializing?
Yeah.
And good for them.
Yeah.
Look like the Soviet Union, like industrialization under Joseph Stalin. People talk about, all the people who died in the Soviet Union in Stalin, But remember, like, most of the people who died under Joseph Stalin were people who, like, the rapid industrialization of the Soviet Union. Remember, like, pre-Soviet Union, like, the USSR was this, like, agrarian armed society of peasants. Like, it was not an industrialized society. Like, Eastern Europe was nothing compared to Western Europe at the time. But then when Stalin came to power, they industrialized. And these people like to make out about how bad Stalin was because of all the people who died while he was in charge. You compare his industrialization to the industrialization of the UK. The life expectancies went down far lower in the UK than they ever did in the USSR. Like, all things considered, Stalin actually handled that very, very well.
Yeah, so, if I may say, you do know that, like, a lot of people with the same kind of weird pseudoscientific beliefs as you, and I know you said that you're half Slavic, but, like, a lot of people back in the past used to point to the fact that Eastern Europe wasn't as industrialized and as modernized as other nations as, like, evidence of Eastern Europe, as, like, evidence of Slavic people not being, like, genetically inferior. A lot of people did that back then.
It was more to do with the iron grip that the monarchies of Eastern Europe had over the peasantry and the serfdom. It wasn't to do with, like, the people of Eastern Europe being inferior. It was to do with the iron control that the monarchs still exercised. And the monarchs were eventually overthrown, oftentimes in violent revolutions in which coalitions of people who were anti the monarchy would fight together.
Yeah, so it was the environmental factors that they lived within that caused them to develop differently, is what you're saying.
Yeah, sure, they developed a little bit later. I mean, it could be argued that when they did develop, they actually developed better and they handled industrialization much better. But yeah, it was a little bit later due to the conditions with their monarchs and their iron grips that they exercised. Like, a lot of the Tsar and shit in Russia and everything, like, they were fucking brutal. Like if you think like the British monarchy.
Oh, I know, the Tsar was fucking horrible. Yeah.
Europe.
Yeah, fucking terrible. Yeah. So, I'm just gonna go ahead and say this to you. You walked right into that. So, you do realize that it was the conditions of Africa that caused less civilizations to develop there, right? Because, like a lot of northern Africa is a fucking desert, and a lot of Central Africa is either mountainous or, like, rainforest. But despite that fact, despite the hardship that they faced, empires still developed. You know? The Malian Empire was in the middle of a desert, but they turned out to be one of the richest empires on the planet. And one of the most developed for their time on the planet, due to the resources that they controlled, because they had environmental factors that were in their favor. It had nothing to do with genetics. It had everything to do with what they had at their disposal. The richest man speculated in history. The richest man speculated in history was the king of the Malian Empire, Mansa Musa, who was extremely rich off of the gold and salt trade, to the point where he collapsed entire nations' economies. Well, there weren't really nations back then. There were like city-states. But he collapsed entire city-states and some empires' economies due to his charity work on his way to his pilgrimage to Mecca. Richest man in history single-handedly collapsed economies due to how rich his empire was. Huh?
Yeah, so, well, I've heard that story before. I think I heard like Lonabox or something talking about it in this video about Nick Fuentes. The story, as Lonabox told it goes, well, he would ride through.
Wait, did you say Nick Fuentes? Yeah, he did fuck off. Yeah, wait, he did fuck off? Yeah, he did hand off like a fuck ton of gold. Yeah, because he was a king. He didn't really give a fuck about economics.
And what about Nick Fuentes? Yeah, I mentioned him because like I was talking about.
Do you like Nick Fuentes?
In which this story was mentioned. Yes, Nick is great.
That explains a
lot.
Fuentes
is an egg. Transition will save her.
That explains
Transition
a lot.
will save her.
Yeah.
Fuentes is an egg.
Fuentes is an egg.
Fuentes is a trans girl. Trust me. Trust me. I can see it in her eyes. I can see it in her eyes.
You browse a lot of TTTT, don't you?
Actually, don't. Contrary to the stereotype, I've only actually been on TTT once.
Once is enough.
I'm terrible with technology. I'm terrible with tech. I was on 4chan, and I'm like, how on earth do I navigate this website? It was so confusing. I am terrible with technology. Like, I would be a TTT person if I could figure out how the fuck it works. Like, I am god awful with technology.
Hey, maybe if like one of the fucking behavioral traits of like Australoids wasn't like an inability to use technology, you might do a better job there.
Dude, Australia is great with technology. We literally invented Wi-Fi. It was an Australian who invented that. You do realize that, yeah?
Yeah, actually. It is actually pretty interesting the way that was invented. But you know who invented the fucking internet in general, the strong-ass, fucking culturally diverse United States of America. Yes, ma'am.
Australia is a very innovative nation. Like, if you look at the population, and you compare the population of Australia to the population of the US, relative to our size, Australia has actually produced far more, like, technological innovation than most countries, actually.
Have you now?
Because we learned about this in high school.
Yeah. I mean, I learned about shit in high school, too.
We learned about, like, Australian innovations and about how, relative to population size, Australia has had, like, one of the most, like, highest number, like, innovations and, like, tech and stuff produced here relative to population size.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hey, there are outliers in populations, which would explain why you're too fucking brain dead to even get on 4chan and browse TTTT.
I'm terrible with technology. That's not because Australia. That's not.
4chan is not hard to navigate, dude. I'm sorry, 4chan is not hard to navigate. If you can't get your mind around navigating 4chan, then you shouldn't be having political discussions. You should be going back and learning how to fucking do long division. I'm sorry.
I don't know how to do long division. I use a fucking calculator. Long division's hard as fuck.
You don't know how to do long division?
I know how to do long division.
Fucking idiot. Fucking idiot. I know how to do long division. How the fuck do you not know how to do long division?
Use a fucking calculator.
Okay, what if you don't have a calculator? You know? What if your ethno state gets fucking what if your ethno state gets sanctioned by fucking Texas Instruments and like you can't get fucking calculators anymore? What the fuck are you gonna do then?
Then we would support local industry and we would develop them locally.
How the fuck are you gonna develop calculators if you can't even do long division?
Well, I'm personally not going to. I'm not going to open a company selling calculators, but someone else within this great nation surely can.
Maybe? Will you? In your ethno state?
Also,
I mean, listen. Considering the average, like, considering the seeming intelligence of people who believe in ethno states, considering the intelligence of people who like seem to believe in fucking ethno states, I don't think that y'all would be able to develop calculators. I barely think that you'd be able to turn on a fucking stove, if I'm being honest.
Don't go getting the wrong perception. In high school, in year 11, I was top of the class in extension mathematics. I was top of advanced mathematics. I was top of 5.3 mathematics in both year 9 and 10. Every single year, while I was in high school, I was the top of my year in mathematics. Don't get the wrong idea. Don't think I suck at math. I just don't know how to do long division because I use a calculator instead. But don't get the wrong idea. I'm great at math. I'm very smart, very big brain.
Long division is basic as fuck. You should know how to do that. If anything, I think that's an indictment on your school.
Come on, come me some slack. We learned long division in year 3, and then it never used it ever again. Because you learn it, and then you never use it. Because why would you use it? Because you have no need to use it. Because you have a calculator.
I mean, listen, I'm just saying, it seems like an Australoid inability to, like, retain information. I'm just saying. That's what it's sounding like to me.
It seems like a fallacy of composition, if you ask me. You're taking me not knowing long division, and from that, you're then extrapolating that Australians as a whole are not good at this particular area, which...
It's almost like I'm trying to make a point here. It is almost like I'm trying to make a point here.
Actually, someone in chat just said Australian education system sucks us. It does. That is actually a very good point. Our education system is actually ranked like one of the lowest in the entire Western world. Kazakhstan has an education system ranked higher than Australia. Fucking Kazakhstan.
Like I said,
that is not in fact very nice.
Australoid genetic inferiority. That's what it must be.
It's a cultural thing. It's a cultural thing. Australia has a culture in which it's very like laid back and like give no fucks. We're very chill, laid back, casual, no fucks given people, which is great because it leads to a lot of innovation. Because if you're lazy and you don't want to do something, you can then invent a machine to do it for you.
So like the Australoids. So what you're saying to me is that like the Australians are like so genetically inferior to a point where like your genetics maximize fucking laziness. You're like sloths. You're like fucking sloths.
It's not genetic.
You move too much, you'll fall out of the tree from like digesting food.
Oh, man, this isn't a genetic thing. This is a cultural thing. Yes, Australia has a very lazy, laid back, chill, no fucks given attitude. That's great. That is our culture. And I love it. I love that fact. I love that our culture is just so laid back and gives no fucks. That's great. That's a big part of what I love about this nation.
You love the Australian genetic inferiority?
Dude, come on. It's about culture.
Listen, I'm just saying laziness is pretty fucking inferior.
It's cultural.
Hey, listen, I'm coming from the nation that has the strongest culture. Our culture is so strong that we important to other fucking nations. Our culture is so fucking strong that we are the most economically productive nation on this planet. We have the highest GDP in this nation. You need to get on the fucking American level, you fucking Australoid.
Fuck American culture.
You fucking Australoid.
I am so sick of American imperialism and like American cultural imperialism. I'm very anti-imperialist. Like the thing is, like as an Australian, I see our culture, our country, just being eroded by like Americanization. Like Americanization has wreaked havoc upon this country, and it is devastating. Obviously, there's like the American cultural imperialism in Australia, which I really oppose. Also, like America has done like literal imperialism in Australia. Like remember back in the 1970s when the CIA overthrew a democratically elected leader of Australia? Like fuck America, fuck American culture, and fuck American imperialism.
You do realize that your entire nation is literally a product of like British imperialism, right?
British what?
Imperialism.
Sure, but I hate American imperialism.
Yeah. So
obviously, like,
wait, question, if you have like an issue against
like,
imperialism, why don't you like repatriate yourself off to like fucking Angleterre? Go to England.
I'm not saying that in the past bad things haven't been done. Like especially like the Spanish conquest in Latin America, those guys were fucking brutal.
Oh yeah, they were horrible.
Absolute mad lads. Like they fucked shit up. Like they went hard.
I guess you could say that certain European groups. You said you were half Spanish. I guess you could say that the Spanish are like genetically predisposed to being like horrifically brutal.
Being fucking badass.
Yeah, I wouldn't say they were badass. They had pretty silly fucking uniforms.
I would say the Spanish conquest of Latin America was fucking badass.
Was it? Was it really? They went in there for wait. They went in there for fucking God, glory, and fucking what was the other G? Glory, God, and gold. You know, like the Spanish, the stupid Spanish, and their genetic inferiority deluded themselves into thinking that there was an honest to God city of fucking gold, and they tossed thousands of men into fucking forests to die in order to find that city of gold, and they never found it. They never found
a city literally made of gold, but they found plenty of cities with a fuck ton of gold. Like, even if there wasn't literally a city of gold, there was plenty of cities with a fuck ton of gold.
Well, yeah, but they still thought that there was a city of gold. That seems like genetic inferiority to me. The fact that they were able to fall for like such an obvious fucking lie.
Seems like a misunderstanding.
It's a pretty bad misunderstanding.
Presumably talking with some natives, and the natives said, "Oh, city with lots of gold," and they thought a city made of gold. Oh my god!
Yeah, that seems kind of stupid to me. That seems like a them issue.
Okay, what's your point? Like what?
What's my point?
Are you trying to make here?
What's my point? It's almost like almost like things that happen in societies and within people groups are not always a result of genetics, and 9 times out of 10 they aren't a result of genetics. They are a result of environmental factors that they live within. Yeah?
I'm sorry, but this is a false dichotomy.
How so? How so? Why can't these both exist? Because there is no evidence to point to the idea that genetics affect culture in any way. There is no evidence to that fact.
No, genetics affect an individual's behavior, and if enough individuals behave a certain way, then that affects the culture of an area. It's a false dichotomy. Like, genetics can affect individual behavior.
Wait, hold up, shut the fuck up right quick. Yeah? Okay? I'm saying this as someone who has a more than normal fucking education on genetics, just due to the school that I go to. It's a very good school. A very culturally diverse school at that. Due to the way that genetics work, yes, there are effects that it can have on someone's culture, but B, humans are more than our genetics, and most of the way our behavior is manifest and, becomes manifested is due to psychological things, and generally just due to the way that the human brain is and has evolved, it's pretty consistent across societies. Yeah, if you notice, one of the biggest trends among literally every society on the planet is pretty simple: gather food, control food, fuck, conquer so that you can gather more food, and you can fuck more, conquer. Gather food, fuck, conquer, gather food, fuck, conquer. Get more land to keep fucking and gather more food. That is across every society. Every society. The only difference is what resources they had to build with. Humans are fucking lizard-brained. That's all we do. That is all we do. That's all our societies have done. And yeah, you can look at the fucking pretty buildings and go, oh my god, look at the pretty fucking wood buildings, and they only had dirt buildings in fucking Africa. Hey, guess what? Those dirt buildings were beautifully fucking ventilated for what they fucking had. And most of the time, people in your fucking European societies lived in fucking mud shacks themselves with fucking thatch roofs. It's almost like it isn't genetics and more like environmental factors that affect how people develop and live.
I'll say this, because I think you're somewhat misunderstanding my position. No, I don't believe in genetic determinism. I don't believe the genes determine everything about a person. I believe in what is reality, which is genetic predisposition. Someone can be genetically predisposed to certain behaviors, or certain... people are more likely to be certain things based off genetic predispositions. Now, obviously, it goes without saying that the values of a culture in which someone is raised have a big influence on it. Like, if someone is predisposed to violence, but is raised in a society where there's a tight-knit community and everyone works together and violence is looked down upon, maybe this person, for their entire life, without being violent. That can definitely exist. But when we have a group of people that, by and large, is predisposed to certain behaviors, well, if there's a whole group of them, I think it's fair to say that this group is savage and barbaric and thuggish.
Yeah, like the fucking Spanish.
Fucking black Americans.
Such as?
American Negroes.
Ooh, American Negroes.
The Abos. Don't forget the Abos. Mainly the Abos. The Abos are far worse than black Americans.
Hey, Cassandra, person to person, you can just say nigger. I don't give a fuck. Okay.
I would, but
so,
yes,
like, with that being said, hey, I just said it myself. I just said it myself, dude.
The black people are allowed to say it. Like, if a white person says it on YouTube, it actually will affect.
I mean, no one can say you. No one can see it. Hey, you can be black for a day, okay? So going off of that, you do realize that you do. Wait, shut the fuck up for a second, you know? Because like clearly your inferior Australian education didn't give you this, you know? I mean, honestly, I think the U.S. should have done better at colonizing your country and deposing your fucking leader in the 70s. Yeah. Okay. So, you do realize that a vast majority of the reasons why black people in the United States of America tend to be worse off is entirely due to A, history of slavery, and B, those issues with slavery not being rectified after, and there being years, and by years, I mean like over 100 years of segregation on the books segregation, and even now there are still systemic issues that are resultant of that. Yeah, I'm saying this as someone who is a descendant of slaves, and as someone who knows people who were born and alive and went to poorer schools because they were fucked over during segregation. My grandparents, I can call up my grandparents right now. They have very poor sleep schedules, but I can call up my grandparents right now and ask them how it was to go to a segregated school. But you know what? It didn't really affect them all that much. It didn't make their fucking genetics worse. Their fucking inferior genetics, as you would call it, didn't do anything bad to them, because it's not like they don't have inferior genetics. They don't. They're quite fucking smart. They're quite fucking successful. You know, my grandfather himself makes close to $1 million a fucking year as an engineer. Huh.
Disgusting.
Huh?
They're disgusting. No one should have that much money.
Yeah, well, you know. I mean, honestly, most of it is just, you know, he draws up charts and designs electrical grids for businesses. He doesn't really manage anyone.
Okay, you've got your little success story. Look.
Yeah, and there are plenty of success stories in this fucking nation.
Hear me out.
Hear you out?
Your grandparents didn't have such a success story, then why is the rest of the black population not?
Why? Because there are outliers to certain situations. You do realize that a lot of the same systemic issues... Wait, can you shut the fuck up for a second, sweetheart? Okay? Yeah, you do realize that a lot of the fucking issues that go on within the black community, as I just explained, are, again, a result of these systemic issues not being resolved in the past. Yeah? But that doesn't mean that black people can't be successful. There are plenty of successful black people, and there are people who have been more successful than you will ever wish to be in your fucking sad, pathetic-ass, racist-ass fucking life. Yeah? Thousands of people, millions of black people, and ethnic minorities, and Aboriginal people, and Indian people, and Native American people, and fucking and Middle Eastern people will go on to be more successful than your sad, pathetic ass, because you are more focused on protecting skin color than actually promoting yourself. Because you, along with many other racists, feel so fucking useless with your lives. You have nothing going on for yourself, so you try to latch yourself and attach yourself to your fucking skin tone because you're weak. You're weak of mind, and this isn't a race thing, this is a you thing. You have such low self-esteem that you are more than willing to put down entire people groups who have done nothing to you because you grew up believing some fucking story that you are so special and so unique for the way that your skin color came out. I don't give a fuck about the way your skin color came out. I will go and pour fucking tar on you and permanently stain your fucking skin. I don't give a fucking shit. Because at the end of the day, you aren't special. You're just another pathetic racist on the fucking internet who doesn't even know how to fucking browse 4chan. Flat out. And that's fine. But don't act like you're doing it because you care about people. Because you don't care about people. You're just fucking racist.
I fundamentally reject a characterization of me.
You can reject that if you fuck... Hey, Cassandra, you can reject that if you want. I don't care.
The fact that I am alive to talk to you today is in and of itself evidence of that claim being false. The fact that I'm here talking to you today, the fact that I've survived up until this point, shows that I am fucking strong.
And I'm sorry about the hardship that you faced in your life. I am definitely sorry about that. But that doesn't make you any less pathetic. You can be a pathetic fucking racist. There are plenty of people who have survived horrific, harrowing fucking experiences that are still pathetic due to their beliefs. It doesn't matter.
So, do you want to go back to the previous topic, systemic racism? Want to talk about that for a bit?
I mean, honestly, at this point, I don't think I can really move you over on anything, and I've kind of said what I wanted to say.
There's still plenty of topics that barely touched on. We haven't even talked about the Jews yet.
Oh, shit, we can talk about them. Yeah, so what's going on with you and them?
Oh, well, nothing's going on with me and them, like, directly. Like, okay, look, like, when it comes to, okay, there is a lot of historical animosity between certain people groups, especially between, white people and Jewish people. There's a lot of historical animosity there. They are very openly contemptuous towards us. They hate us. They despise us. They despise our mere existence.
Calm down, you're getting emotional. It's making you sound irrational.
So because of this existing historical animosity, Jews are openly contemptuous towards us. But now this brings us to the core point, which is that Jewish people are vastly stumbling on my words here. Jewish people are vastly overrepresented in industries such as media and finance. Now this is not debated. This is a fact. Jewish people are indeed overrepresented. Some people are okay with this. Personally, I am not. And the reason I'm not okay with this is because, well, let us ask a question. The Jewish question. Is it okay to let these people who have is it okay to allow these people who are openly contemptuous towards our very existence, is it okay to allow them to have so much power over us? And personally, I would say no, I do not think that it is okay to allow people who openly despise our very existence to have this power over us, because they use this power. Now, you can argue about however they got the power. You can say, oh, you see, they got this power through socio-economics. Historical conditions led them to basically controlling media and banking. But like, fine, okay, even if I grant you that historical conditions and socio-economic circumstances is what created the position of Jewish people controlling banking and media, it does not change the fact that they do. and that they use this power, they use their influence over finance, media, and politicians, they use this to try to orchestrate the destruction of the white race. They bring in non-white people, and then they promote miscegenation to try to destroy white genes, to eradicate the white race, so that as sort of like a retribution for the historical it's like a retribution for the historical animosity. Yeah, that's my thesis.
Okay. So I'm gonna say something that's about to really piss you the fuck off, and it's gonna be really fucking funny if it does piss you the fuck off.
I hope it will.
So you said that like you said Jewish people like hate white people. Is that what you said? Basically, like boiled down, you know, like that was one of your points, correct?
There is animosity between Jewish. Yes, there is a historical animosity between Jewish people and white people.
Okay. So do you think that that's still ongoing? Like do you have so do you think like Jewish people hate white people?
Not every single individual Jew, of course. Like there are no doubt many nice Jews. I have nothing but love in my heart for normal, individual, everyday Jews. I support their right to exist. I have nothing against everyday, just regular Jews. My problem are only with the Jewish bankers and the media and those who infiltrate systems of power and politics.
Infiltrate? Don't you think that they have a right to be in systems of power as well? I mean, I think everyone should participate in systems of power.
No, I believe systems of power in white countries should be primarily owned and operated by white people, as opposed to allowing people who are openly contemptuous to our mere existence to accumulate so much power.
Okay, there we go. Openly contemptuous to our mere existence. Can you, like, give me something for that? You know? Who? And here's the thing that's gonna piss you off. Source.
Sauce? Just sauce for that?
Yeah, do you? Yeah.
Like playing like Yu-Gi-Oh or some shit, and I play Source.
Yeah, dude. Yes, I do play the source card. Give me a fucking source, Nimrod. Come on. Go ahead. Give it to me, Dindernuffin. Come on.
This is
Give me a source. It's that simple. If you're gonna make spurious claims like this, give me a fucking source. Give me a Listen. I want you to use your big, beautiful white brain and give me a source. I know you can do it, Australoid. I know you can do it. You're so strong. You're so strong with your inability to do fucking long division.
I can do division on a calculator.
But you can't do long division.
No, I can't do long division, because why would I want to do long division? I have no reason to do long division.
There are many things I can do that I don't necessarily want to do.
There's no... I have no use for long division. There is no purpose. I have no need. Why would I know something that I don't need to know?
Because information is good. It's good to have information. You know, the Malian Empire knew that. That's why they opened the public university, first one in the world, at Timbuktu.
So what did you ask about? Oh yeah, the historical animosity between Jews and whites.
Yeah, can I see a source on that?
Do you want a specific quote from a specific powerful Jew?
I'd like a source that this is widespread.
How about this? Here's an idea.
I'd like a source that this is widespread.
How about? I have a suggestion. You can find your source by...
I mean, you're making the claim. You should have the source. I don't make claims, you know. Like, you're making the claim. You should be able to provide the fucking source.
Open your eyes and look at what these academics are talking about.
I want to look at what these academics are talking about, Cassandra. Would you please help me by providing me a fucking source?
I'll try to find the exact name. Are you familiar with that whole plan that a Jewish academic outlined for importing black people to have their dominant regimes destroy the white people? This was a famous Jewish academic.
No, I'm not familiar with that. Maybe if you could give me a fucking source, I could familiarize myself with it.
Well, I currently have that tab open and I'm trying to find it. I don't know what it's called because I don't remember the exact name of the exact fucking Ike who was talking about this.
Oh, so now you're using slurs.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I've been using slurs this whole time.
Have you?
Fucking abber, that's a slur.
Yeah.
And who cares?
It's clearly not a very
Call a
fucking known
spade a
one.
spade. Call an abo because that's what they fucking are. Call a spade a spade.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to find the source for it, but it's stupid. Why do I have to find sources on a...
You're making a claim, and I would like to see where it came from.
You familiar with the clergy plan?
The clergy plan? Can you send it to me? Can you link it to me?
I can send you a Jewish Wikipedia article about it.
Alright.
Obviously, that's going to be fucking biased.
Alright.
Are you familiar with the clergy plan? It's basically, there was a Jewish academic who was openly talking about how it's important that the white race he felt posed a threat to Jewish people, and he cited things like the Holocaust, an example, like, oh, look at what these white people did to us Jews. We must prevent them from doing this ever again. So he talked about the importance of importing brown people into white countries to then promote miscegenation, to destroy the white genes, to ensure that white people could never again do the, in massive air quotes, Holocaust.
Okay. 1 second. Water. Okay. So, can you, like, point me to where Kalergi, like, specifically stated this? Actually, wait. No, that doesn't even fucking matter. Where's your evidence that this is actually being instituted by Jewish people? And this isn't just, like, one guy?
The fact that he and all of his academic friends and, like, connected with, like, lobbyists, and they promoted stuff directly into a lot of the politicians of the time.
Okay, so can you...
And you have to remember that a lot of the Jews who own the media, so a lot of Jewish people in power like to collaborate with other, like a lot of people refer to it as like a cabal. I think that's a bit of a mischaracterization. Like it's not really like shady backroom dealings. It's just a simple fact that people like to be with other people who are like them, and so a lot of powerful Jews like to work with a lot of other powerful Jews. I don't think this is not a conspiracy. It's like powerful Jews work with other powerful Jews. Like that's not a conspiracy. That's just a thing that they do. So these Jewish academics who are openly talking about the importance of destroying the white race communicate with a lot of the Jews in media to then subtly promote values that would lead them to their desired end.
Okay. Question. Can you give me something that points to this being instituted, and again, it just not being one guy? Because like right now, you're just doing conjecture. Can you point me to something like maybe a source?
Values.
Source.
In Jewish media.
Source.
Values
Source.
Espoused. The values
Source.
espoused. Jesus Christ!
Give me a link. Give me a link.
Let me fucking talk.
Source, just give me a link. Just give me a link and I'll shut the fuck up. Just give me a link.
Let me talk.
It's that simple. Just give me a link.
Values espoused. The values espoused in Jewish media promote this. The Jewish media, they like to talk, they try to like promote like miscegenation, and they also try to do things to try to disincentivize white people from reproducing, just like forcing men into the workforce. Like obviously I support women's rights to be in the workforce. I support them having that choice. However, the Jews try to force them in through their neoliberal Jewish capitalism. Through the media and through finance and through promoting these economic systems, they promote these values and these systems to enact this.
Okay, have you maybe considered that maybe white people are just genetically predisposed to be Jewish people's bitch?
I would not argue that the historical animosity is intrinsic. I don't think that there's an intrinsic, inherent animosity between Jews and whites. It's more of historical. Like, historical circumstance has time and time again pitted Jews against whites. I don't think this is intrinsic. I don't think this is genetic.
Okay. But again, I would like you to point me to, this actually being a widespread conspiracy and not just like some one guy allegedly saying this, because like I could not find anything
Take a look at
on this
media.
guy.
Take a look at the values pushed by media.
Okay.
They constantly promote, like,
So,
integrating, like, basement
can
things.
you give me a... I'll change it up a little bit for you. I'll change it up a bit for you. I'm not even going to say
Ask for a
source.
citation instead.
No. I'm going to ask for a... Oh my god! Really? Ah, that works perfect for you. The fucking word in Spanish for source is fuente, apparently. Fuente, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that works. Can you give me un fuente to...
Shout out to Nick Fuentes.
Yeah, fuck you. Can you give me a source to like... Oh, I'm sorry. Un fuente to, give me some evidence as to this actually being a conspiracy that's actually ongoing currently. Or are you just gonna keep saying, like, look around?
Take a look. Immigration of non-white people, these black people, they're just being imported. We are just bringing them in. We just keep on bringing them in.
They're refugees.
And that is a product of
that
the
happens.
dissemination
They're
of
refugees.
this man's values and his propagandas trying to push his ends.
So what do you think about, like, a glorious Indian man in, I'm assuming, actually, no, you wouldn't consider him glorious. I wouldn't consider him glorious either. But what do you think about, like, the Indian man who's currently Prime Minister of the UK, Indian British, born, Rishi Sunak. Yeah, I know. Wait, one second. What do you think about the Rwanda plan then? The plan that he's currently instituting.
About the Rwanda plan. All I know is that Rishi Sunak is a fucking Randian. He's a supporter of Ayn Rand. There is nothing more immoral and disgusting than an Ayn Rand supporter. So yes, Rishi Sunak is fucking disgusting. He is filth. He is trash.
But, like, what about the Rwanda plan, though? To, like, deport immigrants to Rwanda. What do you think about that? Not immigrants, but,
Correct me if I'm wrong, but those immigrants, those are fucking Albanians.
Refugees.
They're European refugees.
No?
The refugees that they're talking about deporting aren't African refugees. They're refugees from other European nations. And as I've made clear, I oppose intra-European racism. I think that white people should come together. Yes, we have our differences. We have our vibrant subcultures, and that's fine. That's cool. But we should stand together as one people, as the white race. So I do not support intra-European racism. So the idea of British government deporting Albanians to Africa, that's not good. I do not support that.
Okay, hold up. I'm reading this, like, out right now. That being the Rwanda plan, was enacted for a duration of 5 years by British Home Secretary Priti Patel, who's an Indian woman, also a fucking demon, and Rwandan Foreign Minister Vincent Biruta, who I believe is a black man, on 13th April 2022. Its stated aims are to decrease the amount of migrant crossings in the British Channel, stop human smuggling, and boost Rwandan investment and development. It seems like it's... Yeah, no. Where else does it say this here? Does not specify how many migrants upon arrival. Capital of Kigali. Okay. Rwanda has stated that it will not accept immigrants with criminal records, nor will it accept families of anyone under the age of majority. Yeah, no. I mean, again, you do... Wait, one second.
British is sending them Albanian refugees. I don't support that.
They're
I think
European court.
I think what I think is that if the Rwandan government wants to promote people moving to Rwanda to help their economic growth, they should then reach out to the Albanian refugees and be
it's like deporting people.
Come here.
It's deporting people. Issued an interim measure which stated that one of its 7 passengers, an Iraqi man, not an Albanian man, would face a real risk of irreversible harm if he was transported to Rwanda. Oh, it seems like this isn't Albanians like you're fucking saying. Imagine that.
Sorry, did I hear the same thing you said? Because it sounded like you said an Iraqi man and an Albanian man.
No, I didn't say anything about an Albanian man. It said, an interim measure, which stated that one of its 7 passengers, an Iraqi man, would face a real risk of irreversible harm if he was transported to Rwanda.
Okay.
Hey, maybe if your, like, Australoid ears were better at fucking hearing, you wouldn't, like, have to, like, like, assume that I said Albanian when I didn't say Albanian.
What you said, you said an Iraqi man, not an Albanian man, and I misheard it as an Iraqi man and an Albanian man. It's an honest, basic mishearing of one word.
I think it's genetic. I think it's genetic. Ooh, would you look at this? Rwandan President Paul Kagame has defended the asylum plan, dismissing allegations that the UK gave Rwanda money to dump people here, further stating that it was just a problem that needs to be solved and Rwanda is ready to help. He favorably compared the plan to his 2018 proposal to give asylum to Libyan refugees. So it looks like the same, not same plan, but a very similar plan has been instituted before.
Okay.
With Libyans.
Exactly. So in the past,
Libyans.
maybe like 5 years ago, they were sending Iraqis to Rwanda. The current one, the current news cycle was about them sending Albanians. I'm sure, okay, maybe they've sent Middle Easterns and Arabs there before. Okay, sure, I believe that has happened.
Wait, the current news cycle? I thought you didn't like the media.
Why is it an issue? Okay, I don't think they should be deported to Rwanda, but if the Rwandan government wants people to come there to support economic growth, the Rwandan government reaching out to refugees and offering them asylum, that's good. I think they should do that. The Rwandan government would be like, hey, come to Rwanda, woo! I think that's their right. They shouldn't be forced to go to Rwanda, but sure, I think that's a good option for them to have.
I thought you didn't like the news. You said the current news cycle. I thought you didn't like the news.
When did I not like the news?
I mean, you just claimed that it was, like, full of Jewish people who were trying to, like, replace white people.
A lot of them are Jewish.
A lot of them.
A lot of the media is...
I thought it was controlled. In your words, I thought it was controlled by Jewish people.
At what point have I claimed outright control? No, Jews do not have outright control of the media.
I'm pretty sure you said that.
Control. They have disproportionate control, but they don't own literally everything. And if someone, such as myself, has critical thinking skills, you can still watch Jewish news and Jewish media while critically analyzing it to get the bits of truth out of it.
I think an inability to do long division kind of speaks, like, disfavorably on your critical thinking skills. Hey, don't rely on technology. Don't rely on technology, you cuck.
No long division.
Don't rely on technology, you cuck. Come on. You can do it without technology. It's simple.
Calculator gets the job done, dude.
Yeah, but you know what else gets the job done? Fucking pen and pencil.
Well, not needed. You see, you can be a savage and use pen and paper, but I, as a civilized white, I use my calculator.
I mean, hey, I think pen and paper is pretty fucking cool.
It was cool 2,000 years ago when it was first invented.
I don't even think pens existed. Well, no, they did exist 2,000 years ago, yeah.
Pens, no. Pencils, yes, but pens are like the past 100 years.
I mean, there are quill
Pencils
pens.
and quills go back thousands of years, though.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, do you know who invented paper? Not the fucking Angloids. Not the fucking Angloids. I'll tell you that much.
That was the creepy-ass motherfucking Egyptians.
Well, they use papyrus. Which is it's kind of like a paper predecessor, but like really paper in the way that we know it was mostly developed by like I forget what dynasty it was, but it was developed in China. You'd know that if you actually like thought about human curiosity and actually decided to learn things and didn't just rely on technology, you fucking Australoid.
I know quite a bit about the world. I know far more about the world and about history and about politics than your random person. Like, I know far more than your average person.
But you didn't know about the Malian Empire.
I'm aware that the Mali Empire existed. Ooh, a king, a warlord, rounded up lots of people and got lots of money.
And Axum. And Axum. Don't forget about Axum. There's so many fucking societies.
Also, can we just fucking call bullshit on the idea that a guy riding around throwing out gold bars caused inflation, which led to civilization collapse? Like, that is such a bullshit story. Like, who in their right mind believes that?
I mean, it was that among other things. Also, like, the salt trade being a little weird, but yeah. I mean, he did cause, like, some economies, and he did cause some economies in cities to, like, kind of go a little weird for a second.
The Malian king riding around, handing out gold bars, led to civilizations collapsing. That is just Jewish propaganda bullshit to try to make it seem like these black people had more than they did.
I mean, again, he's speculated to have been, like, the richest man on the planet to have ever existed. Like, he controlled
hand out a
the
couple
gold.
of gold
He
bars and lead to
controlled
civilization
the
or
gold
collapse?
trade. Like,
I call
controlled
bullshit on
the
the
gold
idea that
trade.
handing out gold bars leads to civilization or collapse, and I believe that anyone with half a brain would also call bullshit on that.
Yeah. Well, I think you have a quarter, so, you know. Have you ever watched Bluey?
Ever watched Bluey? Yes, I have watched Bluey. Oh, I love Bluey.
Yeah.
Great show. Great Australian show.
Yeah, great Australian show. I don't think they're very racist in Bluey. They like cultural diversity in Bluey. Seems like.
The audio was cutting off a bit there on my end. I didn't quite hear what you said. What did you say, sorry?
Yeah, I don't think Bluey would be racist. I don't think Bluey would teach you to be racist.
Well, can we just talk? Can we just address something real quick?
Mm-hmm.
So, in the world of Bluey, if you look at their family, you see that their aunt is the same color as their mum and Bingo. Their grandmother is the same color as their aunt and their Bingo. Their uncle is the same color as their father. Yet Bluey, who is canonically a girl, is the same color as her father and her uncle. Clearly, Bluey is a biological male, but yet is established as a girl. Therefore, Bluey is trans.
All right.
Bluey is a trans girl.
I mean, it's a fun theory. It's a little weird hearing it coming out of, you know, your mouth, considering all of the shit that you've said this entire debate, but I like it.
I'm very pro-trans.
You
Trans
are
rights
very
above all
pro-trans, but you are very anti-other things. Like, very anti-other things.
No, trans rights above all else. Like, to clarify something, if you think that I would, like, hit the streets marching for white pride alongside a bunch of transphobes, you are sorely mistaken. I would hit the street in defense of trans rights at a multiracial rally long before I would ever align myself with transphobic white supremacists. To me, trans rights above all else. It goes trans rights, workers' rights, and economic conditions, and then like white rights and race things. Like, economics, social, like left-wing like socialism, and trans rights are both things that I think are more important. Like, don't get me wrong, I do care a lot about protecting my race, and I think my people, we have a right to continue to exist. I think that attacks against trans rights pose a more imminent threat. So I believe that the most important thing is like protecting trans rights.
Okay, I have a question for you. Have you ever heard of Dr. Magnus Hirschfeld?
What, sorry?
Have you ever heard of Dr. Magnus Hirschfeld?
I'm not familiar with who that is.
Oh, Dr. Magnus Hirschfeld was a doctor who was very instrumental to helping dispel the idea that being queer was, you know, a bad thing. And he was also instrumental to some of the first gender-affirming treatments. He was actually a really cool dude. He made the Institute of, I believe it was called the Institute of Sexology. It was a German name, but like it basically translated to that. And he opened some of the first queer health clinics and trans health clinics. Did you know that?
That in Weimar, Germany, was it?
Yeah. And you want to know what else about Hirschfeld?
The Nazis probably killed him, didn't they?
Yeah, because he was Jewish.
Because Hitler was a cunt. Well, okay, we'll get it.
Yeah, it's almost like hating people. It's almost like hating people for things such as like the religion and the ethnic group that they were born into is a little fucking stupid.
As I've said a million times, I don't hate every single normal everyday Jew. Like, if a Jew is studying something important, like trans rights and stuff, I mean, all the power to them. Like, you have to remember that, like, in a way, the Nazis kind of were actually the first transgender activists, because like they forced people to go through sex change operations within their experimentation camps. So they actually did a lot to refine the art of SRS within their camps, experimenting on Jews from SRS.
I can't even call that fucking deranged. That's more. I don't even think there's a word for that. Wow, shit. Okay. Anyways, I don't see this going anywhere. Do you have any final memes?
Any final memes? Shit,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not good at memeing. I'm not a very funny person.
Clearly.
I know. Fuck you. I will say, anyone watching this, I promise I don't bite. I mean, unless you want me to. But like, I'm not a bad person. Like, I would highly encourage you to go follow me on Twitter at Cassandra_Nya. That's at CASSANDRA_NYA. Go follow me over there. Feel free to ask me any questions. My DMs are always open. Feel free to ask me anything. Feel free to hit me up. We can just have a talk. We can just beam around. It's all good. Yeah, go check out my cringe. I'm currently in Twitter jail. I'm currently in the middle of a 7-day Twitter suspension, but I will be back in 4 days. So hopefully I will see you there.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, also before you leave, can you give me a quick little, how about Black Lives Matter?
The movement or just the general assertion that Black Lives Matter?
Yeah, just say like Black Lives Matter. I think it'll be fun. Black
Lives Matter, white lives matter, all lives matter. As long as we can, I support Black lives do matter, and I wish them the best in existing, so long as we can exist as well.
Okay, and also, could you say your Twitter again?
Cassandra_Nya, NYA, like the nya nya meow meow, ooh.
Alright, you heard it here, folks. That is where you can go report her Twitter account like I have already. You have a good night. That was phenomenal. Wow, that is the most fun I've had streaming in like my entire time I've been streaming. Holy fucking shit, that was golden. Wow, that was a fucking hoot, dude. Oh my god. Whew. How is everyone? Oh god, I love that so much. That was great. She's not pro-trans, by the way, I'm not shocked. Brutal, yeah. Yeah, dude, let's pop some fucking champagne. Should listen to all... Someone as racist as her can't be pro-trans. Listen, I don't know. At this point, I've seen weirder things on the fucking internet. All I know is that that was genuinely the funnest time I've ever had streaming. But with that being said, if you enjoyed this debate, make sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon, and share it in your communities. I've actually searched around a little bit, because, like, you know, I got to a certain point, and, like, I saw people talking about me, like, elsewhere on the internet, which is the weirdest thing to think about. But, like, I decided to name search myself in some key places, and I saw that, like, one of you in my audience had posted my video in, like, the Vosh subreddit, and it got, like, 16 upvotes, which isn't a lot, but it's still something. And I think that's pretty cool. So, like, be sure to share me in spaces where you think people would like it, if it's allowed in those spaces, of course. As well as that, I stream on Fridays and Saturdays, or Fridays or Saturdays, depends on how I'm feeling that week. And I upload videos on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. With that being said, I love you all, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace. Yeah. Wow. That was so entertaining. Stream isn't over yet. Stream is not over yet. I only caught the last few minutes, but that was something. It was great. Reported stable. True. True. Yeah. You just meet the darndest people on the fucking internet. The thing is, like, I knew that wasn't gonna go anywhere, and, I would've kept it going on for, like, a longer time. The only issue is, we just kept going in a circle, and I was like, okay, you know, at a certain point, it's just gonna get boring, but check Gentap in your server. I wrote, like, 40 poems on Mel. I swear to God, if you spammed... Shit, drop something. If you spam my gem chat, I'm gonna be not happy. Roses are red, boyfriends in bed. If you're true, roses are... Roses are red, Nazis like transes. Is this a bitch in a trance? Yes. Interesting. Or are you gonna ban the Nazi or just let them play in Chud text? I'm gonna let them play in Chud text. Jesus Christ. Pillow Better Siva poems. I'm reading them right now. Anatomy of Long Division. That was good. That was good. That was very good. That was very fun. I did not expect tonight to go like that, but it happened. That was very funny. But seriously though, like, the long division thing is like... That's just wild to me. I don't know how you just cannot do long division. There are no sources, only vibes. A little quiet. Maybe move the mic closer. That's as close as I can move it. Popped off here? Yeah. Dude, weren't you like on 20 viewers last stream? Shit's doubled? Yeah. I guess whenever like someone bigger doesn't stream, I end up getting like a lot more concurrence. So, that's cool. Sauce? It's in the Discord server, Twisty. But yeah, no, I don't get how you can just not do long division. Dang, we just had like 4 people join the server. That is insane. I feel like the entire debate. True. True. I think that had a lot of good memes in it. The source one, the long division one. The long division one is wild. Cause like that's such a good thing to harp on. Like long division, I learned long division in like second or 3rd grade. And like I've never forgotten it, because why would I? You know? And like the fucking Australoid shit. You're blowing up and you deserve it. Thank you. No mic arm? No. I can buy a mic arm. Someone offered to buy me a mic arm. I respectfully declined. But honestly, if I were to get a mic arm, I'll just want to buy it myself. Man, that was great. I guess I don't necessarily have to do, shit, it's 12:02. I have work in 11 hours, and I'd prefer to go to sleep, so holy shit. Okay. That's a thumbnail. But honestly, I kind of just want to shoot the shit for like the next 30 minutes and then probably go to sleep. Because, I can just like stream Monday. I'm gonna be free. So yeah, I don't want to go to bed. True. That was great. Hey, listen, I want you all to like go through that debate and find me like your favorite clips and like clip them and send them to me, because I want to upload some of those. Like, people have been suggesting that I do a like a TikTok, start doing YouTube shorts and shit. May I suggest starting to put in anti-raid stuff? I already have some, so you have the full support of the GD. Freaking Illuminati. True. I am becoming EP. Go to bed. Have a good day. You're gonna be working on my setup after this? Yeah. Honestly, you don't need like that strenuous well, a lot of people are going to sleep. Yeah. You don't, what was I saying? You don't need that strenuous of what? Oh yeah, like a setup to get like streaming done properly. Yeah. So that was such a good debate. Nice, another East Coaster. Same here, yeah. Smartest year 11? True. I don't know what else to say, everyone. What a fucking idiot. Confession time, I can't do math more than basic algebra, and that's fine. My setup broke like complete. Oh my god, I'm sorry to hear that, Saru. That fucking sucks. But, yeah, so, like, I want you all to, and also, like, the not knowing more advanced in basic algebra, that's fine. Yeah, my main thing about that was, this person was, again, extremely racist, and I thought it would be a little funny to, like, harp on them. Because one thing that, like, racists will like to claim is, like, differences in, intelligence, which, she did there. Like, she tried to do the whole, like, white people build societies and, like, black people only bash rocks together. So, like, the moment she said that she didn't know how to do fucking long division and relied on, like, calculators, I was like, yes, I can get you on that, you fucking racist. Just a lot of filters broke and shit. Damn. Yeah. I like to keep my OBS fairly bare bones, so that is just a me thing, though. Hit him with the IQ? True. I'm glad IQ didn't come up. She was saying how she was so smart and then refused to do something so innately human as being curious, like I can look at an image and learn long division. Yeah, literally. And again, that's the thing about it. These people don't rely on, like, actual rationality. People are hopping into we're hoping into Discord you drop the N-word. Yeah, well, you know. And Mel figures out and use 4chan. True. True. Gotta do better. That's the funny thing too. Like, it's just so. How can you not use 4chan? It's so simple. Like a setup. So funny seeing her make excuses for white people, like high prison rates for white people are due to culture, but other people have predispositions. Exactly. She's a fucking idiot. She's just another fucking idiot racist. Like, there will be always idiot racists, and that's just how it is. That's just how it is. Those people will always exist, but you know what? It is so great being able to humiliate those people and make them seem what they are, weak. If I'm being honest, when I did do that first, like, you're weak and, like, sad and pathetic, I wanted that to be the end, but, like, the moment she said something about Jewish people, I was like, oh, shit. Nazis don't like curiosity. Curiosity is a threat to their movement. It's all vibes. Literally. Do we have a Giga Chad pillow image yet? We do not. We do not. You can make one if you want. I was wondering why my stream was behind. Like, on the little window that I have that shows my YouTube, it was, like, so behind that literally the debate just ended. That's how far back it was. Man. Also, I saw someone saying in chat, like, when she was plugging her shit, like, don't let her plug and just hang up. I hope you like what I did there. And, like, I asked her to repeat her Twitter again, and I was like, and that's where you can go report her. And then, like, hung up. Dude. It's so good. Oh, actually, while we're here, I want you all to do something for me. Since we have 30 people watching, hopefully this can do something. Just give me a second. I want you all to go follow this account. It is the account of my closest friend. They are an artist, and I think it would be cool if a bunch of people went and followed them. That was advanced dolodry, yeah. That was great. I had a lot of fun with that. I have not felt that good about a debate in years. In years. I don't and refuse to use Twitter. Fair. Kudos staying patient with that too. I wasn't patient. At all. I was very much so, like, not nice there. Like, I was intentionally very not nice. At a certain point. Because I knew that they were gonna operate in bad faith. So, I didn't really see the point. But yeah. Man, oh man. That was good. That was good, and I'm happy about it. I'm probably gonna upload that on Wednesday, because Wednesday seems to be the day that my videos do really good. Although yesterday, the video I uploaded yesterday is like 5 away from 1K views. Yes, you didn't say you're nice, but you're level headed. Fair. If a Nazi is curious about something, it's usually only to try to make their movement look better, which can lead to horrible outcomes. Like when that person tried to walk back the experiments. Yeah. The moment they said that, I was like, oh. Like, I don't want to go down that route. Because, like, by that point, we were so deep that it wasn't, like, a revelation that they were weird about that shit. You know? Like at a certain point, it's just kind of like, you know what the person believes in. And, like, at that point, I just didn't want to deal with the headache of them opening up a new topic. So, they're pretty cool art, and my art is support artists of my heart. Yeah! How have you been doing recently growth-wise? I hit a massive spike, and then it went back down a little bit. But it was still spiking. It was still spiking. It was still spiky. But, like, decent spiky. It was kind of like basically it just went like line go up for a while, and then like I stagnated at around like 444, and then like I hit, and like it went back up, and now I'm at like 247. Yeah, 247k. So sorry I crashed the debate, Walter. Dude, Walter, thank you for what you did. Genuinely, before you go to sleep, thank you for what you did. You made it like 10 times more entertaining, and you were really good with what you said. You have a good night, man. I don't know what else to say. You did great. You did great. Anyone else I would have just told to leave, but like I knew you had it down pat. I knew you had it down, like I knew you had that situation controlled last night, which is why when people were talking to her or trying to, you were the only person that I was really like, hey, you know, like, I'm cool with you talking to her. Because, like, I trusted you to be able to deal with her. So, yeah. But, yeah, so, I don't know what else to do other than, I mean, I guess look forward to when the video comes out so that you can all watch it again. How do you even find these people? I initially found this person. I did a video on her. I think about 3 weeks ago. It was 12 days ago. The trans Nazi troll. That video was on her, and I initially found her because she was in the comment section of one of my YouTube videos. And, like, I saw her profile picture, and she had, like, the Nazi black sun. as her profile picture, like emblazoned upon a trans flag, and I was like, huh, that's weird. And I'm like, I posted about it on Twitter. Like, I responded to her, and then she responded back, and like was clearly like doing a troll thing. So I was like, like hit her on my channel so that her comments wouldn't pop up anymore. And then I posted about it on Twitter, and then she came there, and then like she kind of blew up a little bit among like my little space, and not my space, but like a bunch of people in the space that I interact with, like started kind of vaguely talking about her. I think like Tori did, Victoria Tori. Mod application soon. Yeah, I'm gonna have to make up that list. I know I sent that out like a week ago, but like I've been slammed busy. But I'm gonna be a lot more free coming up soon. But yeah, so like I then made the video, and then she was like, oh well, if you're gonna say this and this and this and that about me, then like I would prefer to discuss it with you. And I was like, bet. I was like, bet, like bet. So then it was kind of like I originally wanted to debate her last week, and I'm glad that I didn't, because I feel like I did a lot better today. So yeah, that was great. A lot of people don't realize it is debates that largely grew our channels, and it is debates that often don't necessarily get me like my most views, but they do leave like the biggest lasting audience impact from my experience. Like a lot of them end up getting at least I've done how many in the past? Yeah, I've done 2 in the past, and then yeah, so Monday I'm gonna be uploading my second conversation with Walter. Friday I'm gonna be uploading my debate with her, with the person I just debated. So that's gonna be fun. Yeah. But yeah, so things happen. Hey Pillow, ever consider sending info to Thought Slime to get fuck Thought Slime? Yeah, keep in mind, a lot of my community, and like, not even a lot of my community, I am friends with Zan. Like, actually, as a matter of fact, last night, I was late at night on call with Zan, and Thought Slime was integral in trying to, like, slander Zan, back then with the whole, like, fucking fake cult drama. So, like, before that, happened, and, like, when I was first toying with starting a channel in, like, 2020-ish, I thought about maybe trying to get eyeballs owned, but with A, my connections, and B, just my general distaste for Thought Slime now, I would refuse to get eyeballs owned. Like, fuck that, I don't need Thought Slime's help. Thought Slime is a mixed bag at best. Yeah. Personally, like, for, like, who y'all choose to watch content-wise, that's on y'all, you know? Thought Slime has had good content in the past, it's just, on, like, a person-to-person level, fuck Mildred. Like, I'm not letting my content get promoted by, them. Like, I refuse. Outright. So, yeah. Into who's, I've said it before and I'll say it again, if y'all want to join the Discord server, the link is in the description below. So, yeah. Yeah, good they are fucking psycho, yeah. Well, I never had Twitter, lol. I heard that's the whole thing over there with. Probably bear out the loop, so I heard. Yeah. Anywho's, I thought my concurrence would die out, but it seems like I just have, like, around 30 people just sitting and watching me. Which is cool as fuck, and I appreciate that, so. Potentially expects, like, some weekday streams coming up, in this next upcoming week, just due to, like, school's gonna be a little weird upcoming, so I might do some weekday streams. And with that being said, I love you all. I do have to wake up for work in, like, preferably 7 hours, because I do like to have some time before I go to work and do a fucking day stiller shift, an 11 to 7. So, yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and dip. Yeah. So, I love you all. Kids, make sure to study your long division. I want that to be a community meme. I want someone to, like, edit my face over, like, a teacher, and it's like, learn your long division. Something like that. Once you're aware of the problem that slime sinking, it becomes hard to not notice. Yeah. But yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and end off stream. I love you all. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next stream. Peace. Fuck. Skibbity bopum dottum.